It's a special matinee edition of Soccer Night Florida here in Lakeland as the Florida Tropics get ready to take on the Ontario Fury for the second time in as many days. And the Tropics will have to put a win on the board here this afternoon to get a split of this weekend's games. Good to have you along. We expect another dandy. It was a barn burner last night, and Ontario hung on in the final 2.5 minutes after Zach Reggett had brought the Florida Tropics to within a goal at 6-5, but Florida could never get that equalizer, and Ontario hung on to win their second of the game. So they come in still undefeated on this very young 2021-22 MASL season at 2-0, and for the Tropics, a little bit of a streak breaker. It was their first loss of the season after 2 road wins, and the first time ever in the team's 6-year history that they suffered a defeat in their home opener. Lots of storylines to talk about today, and we'll get to a big one with our analyst, Robbie Aristodamo. Robbie, thanks for joining us once again. A big one right off the top is a big mystery and question mark as to whether or not Hugo Silva will be able to answer the bell when this game begins. He injured a shoulder last night, continued to play, but went for some evaluation and treatment on it this morning. We understand the latest is the x-rays were negative, which is always good, but obviously a lot of soreness and discomfort and pain in there. And he wasn't even in the building 45 minutes before the kickoff. We have seen him at least in the building now, so we know he's here, but literally could be a decision where he walks out of his car into his uniform and between the woodwork at the very last second, if that's the decision Clay Roberts makes. That's a tough spot to put a team in right out of the gate.
No, I agree, Brian. I think it's a big mystery, question mark. How's his shoulder? Is he going to be able to compete? Obviously, we know the turf game is a hard surface. Keepers are always blocking shots and diving and getting on that hard surface. So, fingers crossed if you're a Tropics fan. You're obviously going to need him in the back of the goal.
Yeah, and we don't know for sure who would play if Hugo Silva doesn't go. Now, I can tell you officially on the MASL official lineup card that's been turned in that George Navarrete was listed as the alternate goalkeeper, but Hugo Silva was on there as the starter. Now, if Silva can't dress, the Tropics would have the opportunity to put Brett Petracek in goal. He's the guy that they signed that was so good for the team 2 years ago, really the kind of 1A and certainly the primary backup, if you want to put it that way, to Hugo Silva. But he's been battling a wrist injury all through training camp, and I know in talking to Clay Roberts during the week, the goal very much was to keep both he and Andrew Hoxie out of the lineup until January and put them back in when they were 100% healthy. So I don't know where Brett Petracek stands in terms of the wrist and how much he might be able to go and how much Clay Roberts wants to take a chance to put him in there. Really a lot of uncertainty going into this one.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the indoor game. There's always going to be knocks. So, next man up mentality. The Tropics certainly have enough leadership and veterans that should be able to withstand some of those injuries that are ultimately going to happen week to week, game by game.
It's a confluence of events that, as you point out, in indoor soccer, any sport they can happen, but certainly very often here in indoor soccer when it's such a physical game. And we saw Clayson DeLima, the Ontario goalie, have to leave the game after a collision in the fourth quarter yesterday. So it is no place for the faint of heart in the goal crease in the MASL, and we'll see how the Tropics play it. If they need to, they will go to George Navarrete, the Plant City native, who has literally been with the Tropics since day one, but has only played 75 total minutes in the MASL, so obviously extremely inexperienced. He was the starting goalie for the Tropics this summer for their outdoor team that advanced all the way to the United Premier Soccer League National Final Four Championships, but the UPSL is not the MASL, and the outdoor game is not the indoor game, and so we'll have to see what decisions are made literally right before the kickoff here in Lakeland this afternoon. We'll step aside. We'll take a look back at last night's thriller that Ontario won 6-5. This is the Florida Tropics on MASL TV, the warm-up show.
We are the Bond Clinic. We are your medical services.
Comprehensive, personalized, state-of-the-art healthcare designed to serve you and your family.
We are community.
For over 70 years, the Bond Clinic physicians and our team of specialists deliver expert treatments and outstanding care. With over 90 providers, from pediatrics to diabetic care, lab services to sports medicine, we put your health first. Healthcare excellence in our community. The Bond Clinic.
We believe everyone can compete in the arena. Make the play, and score the winning goal. Because the heart of a champion lives in all of us.
Okay, so I locked my keys in my car. It could happen to anybody. Anyway, this guy shows up with this piece of metal to unlock my car. Does that thing work, I asked? Like a charm, he says. What happened next? I don't like to remember. You wouldn't believe what he did to my car.
Should have called Papa Lock. Papa Lock's friendly professionals will have your door open fast and at a price that'll make you smile. Next time, call Papa Lock.
Back here in Lakeland, Florida, as we get ready for Game 2 of this weekend doubleheader between the Fury and Florida Tropics. And Robbie, can't talk about the Ontario Fury without talking about Frank Tayu first and foremost. Your first chance to see him in person yesterday. I saw him in person for the first time in three games here back in February last year when the West Coast teams came to Florida to play a round robin of games here at the RP Funding Center to complete their abbreviated schedule. He's just so impressive in all aspects, especially on offense. Defensively isn't always there, but offensively, my goodness, we saw him score a couple of goals yesterday. That first one, he just turned Lucas Monaleros, who's a really good defender, 6 years now with the Tropics and one of Clay Roberts' most trusted defenders. I mean, he just turned Lucas inside out and powered one past Hugo Silva without any problem. I know I again was impressed, and I know you were too, for your first in-person look with Frank Tayu. So I guess the question is, maybe you go back to the old sports adage of you're not going to be able to control him, but maybe you can contain him a little bit. How do the Tropics go about at least containing a guy like Frank Tayu today a little better than they did yesterday?
Yeah, I think it's just understanding where he is at all times, forcing him board side. Obviously, you want to force him down the sidelines. And you know, again, there's a tactic of, do you double team him? And if you do, what are the other 4 players on your team doing? 3 players, sorry. Are they sagging in a little bit of a zone mentality? Or ultimately, you know, what's the type of pressure you're putting on the Ontario Fury defenders to not allow such easy service into Tayu? Because I think ultimately yesterday the service into the big man was a little bit too easy, and he was really able to dictate the tempo of the game single-handedly. So I would expect a little bit better pressure on the Ontario Fury defenders to make it a little bit more difficult in terms of an entry ball into the target forward.
And you make a great point, too, of trying to get him pushed out away from the penalty box area, get him as far out to the dasher boards as you can. That's always the goal against virtually any good offensive player. The farther you can get him outside, the better opportunity the goalie has to cut down an angle and make a save. But that is tough when you're talking about a guy like Tayu, who's about 6'1", 190 or so. I mean, he's a tank down there, and so moving him is a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, no, and I think the other thing is too is the best defense is offense. So again, we talked about yesterday, how long can you keep sustained possession for? Where you've got a guy like a Frank Tayu now has to defend for long periods of time, and then once they win the ball, he's just too tired because he's been defending. He's got to get off for a line change. So I think really ultimately Clay Roberts is going to want a little bit longer possession spells, for that reason only, is to keep him defending as opposed to attacking.
Yeah, that was definitely a key. Really, Ontario played exactly the kind of game they wanted to play yesterday, especially when you have that 2-2 game situation. They played at their own pace, which was controlled. It was patient. It was creating opportunities with possession. They didn't have to spend and did not spend a ton of time trying to chase the Tropics all over the field. And I think if you're going to ask Jimmy Norberg about what the perfect game would be for game one of a two-game series like this one, Ontario played it yesterday, and so the Tropics are going to need to try and impose their will perhaps a little more strongly this afternoon. It was just a weird day offensively for the Tropics. They just missed on so many chances, and I don't mean they made Chris Toth or DeLima make great saves. They just were high on shots. They were wide on shots. Sometimes it's really just simple as getting it on frame, right?
Well, that's exactly it. I think it wasn't for lack of trying and opportunities. There was a lot of set pieces, dead ball situations, and typically when you look at the front three and the second forward position, specifically Ricardo Carvalho, he had a lot of chances that typically he would probably hit in the back of the net, and I think he was just a little bit off, including Zach Reagan. I'd expect those two players to have a bigger influence on the game tonight.
Although Zach had a real big and a real pretty goal with just under 3 minutes to go, a 50-foot laser from the yellow line that beat Chris Toth low to his left side, and it was a goal that brought this place to life and gave the Tropics a fighting chance in the final 2.5 minutes, but unfortunately for Florida fans, they were not able to get the equalizer. When you're struggling offensively like some of the Tropics are, is it, we used this analogy yesterday, like a baseball player. You just keep swinging. Maybe it's a dribbler down the third base line that's a swinging bunt single that gets you going. Is the best mindset just to keep firing and maybe get a lucky bounce, get a deflection, get a soft goal? Is that the kind of thing that can really get a guy going?
No, I agree, Brian. I think shooters shoot ultimately. If your second forward in your target positions got to consistently be punching balls off the boards, getting themselves in the box, making runs off the target forward, and again, just continuously shooting and getting yourself into good positions. Back post happens, and ultimately that's what's going to get a good offensive player going.
Well, the Tropics did have some very pretty transition goals yesterday, and so they certainly don't want to abandon that, and they are not going to leave anything on the floor, that's for sure, this afternoon. They do not play again for 2 more Sundays, not until the new year, so there's plenty of time to rest. We expect another good one here at the RP Funding Center. Ontario winning it by a goal yesterday. We'll see if the Tropics have an answer this afternoon. That'll do it for our MASL warm-up show. Coming up next, live from Lakeland, Florida, it's the Florida Tropics as they host the Ontario Fury on MASL TV.
Okay, so I locked my keys in my car. It could happen to anybody. Anyway, this guy shows up with this piece of metal to unlock my car. Does that thing work, I asked? Like a charm, he says. What happened next? I don't like to remember. You wouldn't believe what he did to my car.
Should have called Papa Lock. Papa Lock's friendly professionals will have your door open fast.
We are the Bond Clinic.
We are your medical services.
Comprehensive, personalized, state-of-the-art healthcare designed to serve you and your family.
We are community.
For over 70 years, the Bond Clinic physicians and our team of specialists deliver expert treatments and outstanding care. With over 90 providers, from pediatrics to diabetic care, lab services to sports medicine, we put your health first. Healthcare excellence in our community. The Bond Clinic.
We believe everyone can compete in the arena. Make the play, and score the winning goal. Because the heart of a champion lives in all of us.
It was so much fun yesterday. We're going to do it one more time here this afternoon. Stay tuned as the Major Arena Soccer League presents the Florida Tropics as they host the Ontario Fury. Good afternoon, fans, and thanks for choosing to spend a little bit of your Sunday afternoon with us here in Central Florida. A very warm and balmy afternoon outside, and we expect another game of hot action inside as these two teams played to a 6-5 decision last night that went Ontario's way. The Tropics will hope to turn those tables this afternoon. We'll see if they can do it, and we will talk more about our matchup here. And we can tell you real quickly that Hugo Silva is going to be in goal. He was introduced as the starter. We'll tell you a little bit about his saga in just a moment, but first, our national anthem.
See by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Wow, that'll get the juices flowing. What a rendition. Great job by Aaron Burns, who is also the coach and the organizer and has done a great job with our new Florida Tropics cheerleaders this year. Didn't know she had a set of pipes on her like that. Boy, that was a great way to get it going here at the RP Funding Center. The mystery is over, Robbie Aristodemo. Hugo Silva literally off the examination table into his uniform and into goal here tonight. Suffered a shoulder injury yesterday, but he says he's good to go, and we'll have to believe him.
No, exactly. I think it's a sign of relief if you're a Tropics fan.
Big sigh.
Yeah, one of the top keepers in the league, and we'll see how he responds in the first quarter.
Yeah, that will be big, but knowing Hugo, rocking the Platinum Dew again this weekend. Didn't have that during training camp, but that has been kind of his signature look over the last few seasons in the MASL. And Yeah, that's. I mean, the Tropics were kind of faced potentially with having to go with George Navarrete, their backup, who everyone loves to death. He's the greatest guy on the roster. He's an original member of the team all the way back to 2016. I was joking with him in the locker room before the game, and I said, George, are you ready to go? And he said, I was ready to go when I signed my first contract in 2017. So he was ready. He has that attitude. He has that confidence, a goaltender has to have regardless in this game. And he was the starting goalkeeper for the outdoor Tropics team this past summer that went to the National Final Four in the UPSL. So he's clearly talented. That's not really the issue. It's just in the last 5 Tropics seasons that he's been with the club, he's literally played a total of 75 minutes. So Hugo Silva indeed will get the call in goal. And for Ontario, not too surprisingly, it's Chris Toth who will get the start after Clayson DeLima got the start yesterday. DeLima played about 3.5 quarters and then was injured in a collision in goal. I think he might have taken a little knock on the head, and Coach Jimmy Norberg said that was enough for him. He knows Chris Toth is as capable as any goaltender in the sport, and he came in and shepherded the Fury to a 6-5 win. Tropics have possession here to start things this afternoon. Frank Tayu, who took a pretty big hit yesterday and was helped to the bench at one point, is in fact in the lineup and out there to start things for the Tropics. Reggett gets it down low to Pereiras, who tries to play it off the boards in front to Carvalho. Carvalho will bang in the corner with Uzi. Tayu comes out on top, and Stinson tries to get away, and then Stinson taken down from behind, and we'll have a foul.
Yeah, and I thought Stinson was one of the bright spots. Obviously my first time seeing him play, but a really good second forward. He defends, he attacks, good 1v1 player, very composed and strong. Great prospect, obviously, for the Fury.
Yeah, he is a very good young veteran, kind of veteran young player. He and Zach Reggett breaking into the league several seasons ago in St. Louis, and he has found a home to be certain out in Southern California with the Fury, who advanced all the way, of course, to the MASL Championship Series last year before falling to the San Diego Sockers. Same fate befell the Tropics in the first round of the MASL playoffs as they lost in 2 straight to the Sockers, one of those in overtime, the other one a 1-goal game. Reggett now down to Yoshio Sandoval, and he'll lay it back out to Reggett.
That we talked about yesterday in the broadcast, Brian, just a little bit more sustained possession from the Tropics. Get your lines changed multiple times.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that a little more today.
And shorter shifts very often in
certainly in the back-to-back.
Yeah, in the second of a back-to-back. A shift normally might be anywhere from 60 to 90 seconds. Today probably shortened to something around 45 to 60 seconds if possible. Here's Bruno Enrique. He's dangerous. He's a guy that can ignite this Florida Tropics offense as well, speaking of good young players. Off the boards in front, but not strong enough from Enrico, who had Taylor Walter Bond park the back post. There's the one playback you get to Chris Toth, the goaltender. Now it's played forward by Vandegrift, so Toth will be able to play it again without having to worry about a distribution violation. Here's a nice ball to Taylor Walter Bond, 3-on-3. Bond with a shot, just misses by inches on the far post.
And Bond was a lively body yesterday. He gets himself about the pitch. He did have that one clumsy tackle that resulted in a man-up situation for the Fury. But I do like what I see from Bond. He's very lively.
Yeah, and I think he wants to atone for that little moment of frustration yesterday, which ended up costing the Tropics a goal.
Well, you got J.P. Reyes here getting some action in for the first time.
Well.
Yeah, he's been around the game a long, long time.
Yep.
It's nice to see him in.
Is an original Tropic, and getting the call this afternoon. Kyle Williams a little banged up from yesterday's game, so he's not in. And Ricardinho also not dressing here this afternoon. So a couple of new faces in the lineup with Enrique and Reyes, which always helps as well to have some fresh legs in there. Here's Vic Morligwe. He had a goal yesterday with it, and he'll put his foot on the ball and survey the situation and let the Tropics make a line change.
Well, and this is what I'd like to see if you're a Tropics fan, keeping that ball longer, and let's see if you can make Frank Tayu defend a little bit more than he did yesterday.
Long ball deep into the end. Oliverio out to challenge Chris Toth there. Oliverio will come away with it. Reggett with it. Shot, goal!
Well, you love to see Reggett get back in action right off the bat. We talked about it in the pregame, Brian. We need to see Ricardo and Reggett have a little bit more mustard and steam, and that was a fantastic left-footed bomb. Really kind of a play out of nothing.
ZTR. The White Gorilla strikes early here in Game 2 this weekend. Took him 57 minutes to get his goal yesterday. Takes him less than 3 here this afternoon. Pretty finish on the short side. Good work by Breno Oliveria to run some interference and give Zach some space. I got a text from Zach at 1:23 this morning. Fortunately, I didn't hear it, but apparently I called him ZRT in my excitement yesterday. So ZTR, we got it right today for you, Zach. And you had it right with that strike. A perfect shot, and the Tropics draw first blood, which, as we mentioned yesterday, is a stat that is often a very big indicator about how the Tropics will finish. Here's Ruggles with a shot. He was set up nicely by Pereiras and again off frame.
Well, it's a nice little feed from Carvalho. Ruggles, again, he had that fantastic opportunity yesterday with De Lima making a world-class save, if you can recall, on that redirect. But Ruggles is always a calm, cool, collected defender. I do like seeing him get involved in the offensive third.
Boy, you love to see a shooter set up like that, just able to take a pass with a lot of space on the dead run, and Ruggles just had it over the crossbar by about 2 or 3 feet, but that was a big problem for the Tropics yesterday. Much better start here for Florida here this afternoon. Now Hernandez with it. He's 1 against 3, and he'll chip it towards goal. No real problem there for the Tropics. J.P. Reyes with it, going to be challenged by Stinson, but the veteran J.P. comes out of there with it. Now Eligwe with it. He's got Taylor Walter Bond and a late whistle. Wow. Yeah. That was a late whistle, but they will call Taylor Walter Bond on the push.
It's a little bit of a soft call from our angle. I felt like that would have been great to allow that play to go, but nonetheless, I like the start from the Tropics. Again, we talked a little bit about how do you contain. Another opportunity from
Pereiras with a shot, and Vicmore Eligwe camped far post almost with a redirect. Here's another shot. That one never gets through, but again, the Tropics will retain possession. Yeah, very, very good start here for Florida this afternoon. Pereiras will challenge for possession in the Ontario end of the field, but Emmanuel Aguirre will come out of there with it, rather. Stinson gets it back to the goalkeeper, up to Juan Tepeda, and now a foul called again against the Tropics. The officials for today's match are brought to you by Capelli. Capelli is the official uniform sponsor of the MASL game officials. Today's officials, and that is Ryan Sigich, who is the head of officials for the MASL out there this afternoon with Elvis Osamanovich. Good to have the pride of Dallas, Texas, Ryan Sigich, on the floor this afternoon. You know you'll always get a quality game. I thought Manny Ortiz and Kermit Quisenberry did a really fine job yesterday. Always love to see Manny. Never without a smile on his face and his calm demeanor, which I think makes him such a good official.
No, I thought the game was excellent in terms of the referee standpoint. Only 2 blue cards. It was a good free-flowing action. It was great.
Yeah, it really was. It was well done. It was an entertaining game, no question about it. Here comes Cisse with a shot. First chance for Silva, and he's steady as a rock right there.
Again, we talked about the service into Frank Tayu. Again, too early, but initially the first few minutes of this first quarter, I do like the pressure the Tropics are employing, not allowing such easy service into the target.
Trying to set up a play there for Taylor Walter Bond on the header from Reggett. Now here's a chase for the ball. Abdul Mansoure will win it, and he will shoot it high and goes off the glass out of play. Good burst of speed there by Mansoure.
It looks like, he's got some wheels behind him there because he blew by the Tropics defender, Sandoval. Left him in his dust a little bit.
And Yoshio's got some wheels himself, so that's speed is a great equalizer in this game, no question about it. Reggett Leaves it for Rico. Taylor Walter Bond taken down briefly, recovers. Tries to feed Reggett at the side of the arc, and Zach can't corral that one.
Yeah, I just think right there, that's where you've got to be a little bit more savvy. There's nothing on. You got to restart it, keep possession, make your line changes. And I think that's what's missing right now from the Tropics. Just when to kind of bring it back and start again and recycle.
Yeah, that's a great point. That was a Hail Mary to make a spectacular kind of play, and instead of, as you point out, just resetting and recycling and trying to create from the back, you just give up possession and start having to chase all over.
Yeah, and part of it too, it's it filters through the entire team, because if you can get your line changes quicker, everyone's a little bit more fresh and they feel more involved in the game.
Uzi Tayo with it here on the near boards, being watched by Enrique. Down to Tayo, he's got an open look and a goal. Well, he beats Chad Vandergriff that time one-on-one. And hello, Frank Tayo. The show begins one more time.
What about that entry ball right into probably the worst spot possible as a defender now, because Frank Tayo can go right or left. He can spin you. You can't get too close because he can spin you. But it's all about the entry ball when you look at the replay. And we'll get another good angle on it.
Yeah, I mean, it really, you can see that Tayo's, you got four guys above the yellow line, and that's an easy entry to the King. No question about it. So the Tropics, they're
going to want that one back. It's about denying that entry ball into the big man up top.
Yeah, exactly right. Here's Enrique trying to work in the corner. He's taken down hard, and no blue card, but a foul and a restart here from a dangerous location. Veteran Lucio Gonzaga will take it. Gonzaga gets it out to Monolaris, and boy, there's another one that's just a mile off the mark.
Well, we saw a lot of set pieces yesterday. We talked a little bit about that, and I just feel like the Tropics didn't capitalize enough, obviously, with only scoring 5, and one was a 6-attacker goal. So 4 goals plus that one late from Zach Reggett. They need to do a better job on their set pieces.
Their case of sky-itis has not subsided from yesterday so far. Tayu again with it. He's on Sandoval now. Now double-team help from Carvalho, and that's a good play by Ricardo to spin away, keep possession, and finally go down. No whistle. Stinson will play it off the boards, trying to maybe get it to either Tayu or play it off the boards to himself. Now Uzi Tayu is going to be called for the foul. And we may get a delay warning. We do.
I remember back in my day, you could never change on a foul. You could never change on a dead ball. You can only change when that ball is out of bounds, or obviously within the flow of your offense.
Right.
But now it's free-flowing changes. You can change at any point.
Now the two officials going to talk it over, and they're going to say the foul was against Florida. Apparently so. I don't know how that is, but okay.
I don't really see much in that. I'm not sure.
Clay Roberts is asking the same question from about 100 feet away.
I almost thought it was a close blue card on the Ontario Fury.
Yeah, that was an odd one. I have to go back and look at the tape on that one. But it will be Ontario ball. There's not a huge argument from the guys on the field for the Tropics, so I don't think they feel as aggrieved as maybe we thought they might. It was definitely a collision there, and as we know, Uzi Tayu is talking about guys that could live up to the nickname The Tank. He is definitely one of them. Very talented player in his own right, overshadowed, of course, by his brother's offensive exploits, but Ontario wouldn't be Ontario without him. Trying to set up a little give and go there. Now here's a 2-on-1. Ruggles, he's got Taylor Walter Bond with him. Ontario recovers it down low. Pereiras denied by Chris Toth. Good read by the veteran keeper Toth right there. Pereiras will take a short side shot, and that almost trickled through the legs of Toth, and Bond was there perhaps for an easy goal, but Chris Toth able to just recover. There's a blatant push.
Wow.
I mean, that's just as blatant as it gets.
Well, I mean, he pulled him
and
over like a rag doll.
Frank seems to think it wasn't on him. Sorry, Frank, that was definitely on you.
Yes, that was.
That one is right in front of us. Couldn't miss that one.
That was a stiff arm. You see that in the NFL running backs.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's such a strong presence. And again, for me, the tactic for Clay Roberts, how do you keep him on the field defensively for long spells? Right. That's got to be a tactic.
And, I mean, no doubt Sandoval was manning him up, and there was contact from Sandoval body to body, but Frank just reached out and, as you properly called it, stiff-armed him. And there's a takedown by the boards, and that should be a blue card, and it's going to be. And Frank Tayu's a little out of control at the moment here.
Well, and again, they're gonna look at that. It's a dangerous play.
Very dangerous.
J.P. Reyes' head, and it was very clumsy on Frank Tayu's part.
That could easily be a green card, the blue and the yellow, but I think Tayu's just going to get the blue. And I think Ryan Sigich may have had a thought or two of more, but certainly a blue card. And the Tropics will get a power play. We'll talk about it when we come back. We've got our mid-quarter media timeout. 6:48 to go in that quarter. It's the Fury 1, Tropics 1. This is MASL TV.
We are the Bond Clinic.
We are your medical services.
Comprehensive, personalized, state-of-the-art health care designed to serve you and your family.
We are community.
For over 70 years, the Bond Clinic physicians and our team of specialists deliver expert treatments and outstanding care. With over 90 providers, from pediatrics to diabetic care, lab services to sports medicine, we put your health first. Healthcare excellence in our community. The Bond Clinic.
We believe everyone can compete in the arena. Make the play, and score the winning goal. Because the heart of a champion lives in all of us.
Well, we'll see how this plays out. The Tropics power play has not been great this year, just a 22% conversion rate in their first 3 games, and you would like to typically see that up into the high 30s or 40s to consider the power play clicking fairly efficiently. Ontario, though, hasn't been great on the penalty kill. They've just killed off 1 of 3 penalties, so 33% on the penalty kill for the Fury this year. So we'll see if the Tropics can make Frank Tayu and the Fury pay for his indiscretion. Carvalho out there with Reggett. Ruggles, that's Lucio Gonzaga. And, of course, Pereiras. Ruggles with it at the yellow line, leaves it for Gonzaga. He can be a little dangerous from distance. He knows how to slot one far or near post if he gets an angle in a shooting lane.
Well, they've got Victor Perez down low, which is a little bit of a different tactic. He can roll the ball inside and shoot far post for Carvalho with a little tap-in. So I do like that from Clay Roberts. Gonzaga's calm and composed up top, and you're right, Brian, he does have a cannon.
Reggett will turn, fired, partially blocked by the defense. Gonzaga will track it down quickly. Over to Ruggles, who will let it fly, and that was a little bit of a funky save for Toth as it deflected off Nestor Hernandez and had some unusual English on it, but he was able to corral it. Chris Toth, the son of Zoltan Toth, old-time MISL fans will certainly recognize Zoltan Toth as one of the better net minders in the history of the sport. Ruggles with it, leaves it off for Gonzaga, takes that shot, and that one didn't get through either. Down to 42 seconds to go in the man advantage here. Tropics really haven't generated a bona fide sterling scoring opportunity here yet.
Well, and you like what Ontario Fury does defensively. They changed their front player in the diamond. This is their 3rd change already on the man down, so they want to keep things fresh.
Gonzaga will make a move at the yellow line, lays it off down in front. Carvalho tried to hit Pereira's back post, but a good defensive play there by the Fury. That was Cisse who made the play. Gonzaga trying to create an opportunity at the yellow line. Over to Pereiras. He winds up with a shot. That again blocked defensively. 10 seconds to go in the man advantage. So one last chance for the Tropics to set up here. Pereiras deep in the corner. Pereiras back on top to Ruggles to Gonzaga, Man advantage is over. Here's Reggett with a shot. Good save by Toth. Reggett going to corral the rebound. Does a good job with his body, and that will go out of play, and it'll be, I think, a restart in the far corner. Not quite a corner kick. It was outside the corner flag, but pretty close.
Well, that right there, Brian, is my exact point. There was no need to kind of just flare a shot from wide. That was when you can keep possession. It was 5-on-5 at that point, and you were locked in. You pinned in the Ontario Fury because they were just on a man down. Then you can really start to create some momentum and keep them on the field for long periods of time.
Carvalho on the volley, and that one is blocked on the defense, so Toth not called upon there. Reggett with a good header to keep it away from Stinson, but just for a moment. And now Carvalho coming back to knock it away. Good play by Ricardo there on Thiago Gonçalves, who was looking to start a counter. Long ball deep into the left corner. Ruggles with it, being watched there now by Robert Palmer. Former Kansas City Comet star, now with the Fury. Enrique trying to control in the box. Still there battling, and Taylor Walter Bond will come out of there with it. Good challenge and a play by Jesus Pacheco. We've got a whistle, and the Tropics will keep possession. Pacheco with a nice game yesterday. A couple of pretty goals for Jesus. Tropics got the first one here this afternoon. Frank Tayu able to get the equalizer. That's how we are at 1-1. Reggett getting his 6th of the season, and that one takes an unfortunate hop over the glass and out of play as Silva tried to make the long inlet.
Yeah, I don't think it was
pass.
really needed either. Sometimes those long balls into the boards, not easy for the target forwards to control. Yeah, for me, it's a little bit more about the rotations, the ball movement.
Get the latest news on the MASL and your favorite teams by following MASL Soccer on Facebook and Instagram and MASL Arena on Twitter. Of course, MASLsoccer.com, your gateway to all those social media sites, league information. One of the neat things that the league is doing this year at MASLsoccer.com is posting all the game notes that are produced by each team for their games every match, so you get an opportunity to do a deep dive on every game if you'd like. With there are Ontario Fury and Florida Tropics game notes on there, and also new this year, the MASL Stat Pack, which is updated every day, so you can get the latest in terms of standings, which are important this year because wild card standings are now part of the picture in terms of the playoffs, which only the division winners get automatic berths this year. Chad Vandergriff, that takes an unfortunate bounce for Gonzaga, who had some space there for a moment in the left corner, but had to instead wait for it to come down and corral it. Toth with the read. Gonzaga trying to step up. Challenge in there by Oliveria, and Tropics will take it away here. Marico over to Vandergriff. Rare bad play by Chad there. Ontario with a counter, but the Tropics in pretty good shape numbers-wise, although it's in the box. And Silva able to corral that one off the foot of Juan Tepeda, who wasn't really able to get much on it.
Yeah, but a tough shift for Chad. You know, losing his runner in the box, giving the ball away sloppily. They've got to show up their possession. Got to be a bit sharper for me. If I'm Clay Roberts, we don't always need the long ball into the boards. Can you shorten up your passes? Obviously, there's a bigger success rate if the pass is shorter, and continuously move in that sort of three-man weave. And then your entry ball into your target needs to be shorter.
Yeah, that is a rare misstep for one of the steadiest and best defenders in the league, and Chad Vandergriff, who came over from the Milwaukee Wave. Of course, if there's any Tropics fans wondering where Ian Bennett is, of course he is back with the Wave. He was just on loan from Milwaukee during the 2021 season last year that only 7 teams dressed for, including the Tropics. Milwaukee was one that did not, so Bennett got a chance to, hey, spend your winter in Milwaukee, spend your winter in Central Florida. That's not too hard a decision.
No, always a fantastic decision from him, getting out of that cold. But he's a big Wave guy. He's been there for a long time, and A fantastic player he's been.
Yeah, he was a delight to have around. Great personality on and off the field. He was just a lot of fun to have. Here's a counter opportunity for Florida. Carvalho with it, and again has his shot blocked. Just not able to create enough space there. Good defensive work by Israeli Cisse to shut Carvalho down. He's still looking for his first goal. He was a 30-goal scorer 2 seasons ago, and that's why we kind of keep talking about the fact the Tropics, if they're really going to have their offense in all cylinders firing, Carvalho's going to have to be a big part of that at some point, and he probably will be, but just some tough luck right now. Monolaris, he loses it, and here's a breakaway opportunity for Stinson, and I mean, he's got nothing but green grass in front of him, and Silva makes the save. Hugo Silva denies one of the best finishers in the game in Justin Stinson. And he says, bring it on, boys, bring it on.
Super composed from Hugo Silva. Just kind of allowed Stinson to kind of get closer and closer. Made himself big, and phenomenal save.
Another bad gamble by the Tropics there, resulting in that opportunity. And Silva bails out his defense there. Good play by Reggett to play it off the boards to himself. He's got Carvalho, but towards the end of the shift, and so Carvalho going to head to the bench. Good decision actually there by Reggett to pull it back. He's going to battle with Palmer in the far corner for possession, and Jack, boy, he's just taken his level 2 game to a different level as Taylor Walter Bond is denied by Toth on a good leg save.
It's a beautiful save from Toth. Yeah, one of the reasons why he's the goalkeeper of the year.
And that will bring the festivities here in the first quarter to a close as the Tropics come close to retaking the lead in the waning moments of the first quarter, but aren't able to do it. 15 minutes in the books here in Lakeland this afternoon. Plenty of action yet to come. It's the Ontario Fury 1, the Florida Tropics 1. Back with more in a moment on MASL TV.
We are the Bond Clinic.
We are your medical services.
Comprehensive, personalized, state-of-the-art healthcare designed to serve you and your family.
We are community.
For over 70 years, the Bond Clinic physicians and our team of specialists deliver expert treatments and outstanding care. With over 90 providers, from pediatrics to diabetic care, lab services to sports medicine, we put your health first. Healthcare excellence in our community. The Bond Clinic.
We believe everyone can compete in the arena. Make the play, and score the winning goal. Because the heart of a champion lives in all of us.
Okay, so I locked my keys in my car. It could happen to anybody. Anyway, this guy shows up with this piece of metal to unlock my car. Does that thing work, I asked? Like a charm, he says. What happened next? I don't like to remember. You wouldn't believe what he did to my car.
Should have called Papa Lock. Papa Lock's friendly professionals will have your door open fast and at a price that'll make you smile. Next time, call Papa Lock.
Well, it's an MASL triple header for fans on this Sunday in December, right before Christmas. A little holiday present for soccer fans coast to coast, starting it out here in Lakeland as the Tropics and Ontario Fury get ready to kick off things here in the second quarter. Just about the time this game's end, they'll be cranking things up in St. Louis. Good matchup between the Milwaukee Wave and the St. Louis Ambush, and just about the time that one comes to an end, should get one last look at the MASL action this weekend as the San Diego Sockers host the Chihuahua Savage. So 3 very potentially entertaining games on the schedule this afternoon, all kind of back-to-back-to-back. And so forget the NFL for one Sunday, or at least maybe keep it on in the background and enjoy what should be 3 really entertaining games. It's been very entertaining so far here this weekend, and plenty left to come from the RP Funding Center. 1-1 our score.
Almost feel like the Tropics are looking to the target maybe a little bit too soon at times. Lucio Gonzaga making a mistake there, rushing the pass, and now again defending for longer periods of time, because we both know, Brian, that Ontario Fury, good possession team.
They showed that yesterday, and they're going to show that a little bit right here. Work things around. That is certainly their signature MO from yesterday, at least, and today has not been a lot different. Stinson trying to play it deep into the box. Ontario Tropics really came out first 4 or 5 minutes in total control, but things have kind of settled down since, and it's been a 50-50 kind of game since then. Silva, who was literally a game-time decision before being announced as the starter. Nice long ball down to Chad Vandergrift. Lays it off to Oligwe. Oligwe at the yellow line. He'll pull it back out. Tropics want to send some fresh legs out. That includes J.P. Reyes, and now Drew Ruggles out there with the veteran Reyes. Oligwe with it.
Just about to say, this is the time to keep some momentum and some possession. You've got Frank Taiu defending, and now you've kind of bailed him out. He's able to get to his sweet spots.
And I think that's probably the frustration if you're Clay Roberts, is a lot of these mistakes are kind of simple. Just little mental little things that don't necessarily have to happen. And, you know, that's one thing to make a physical mistake or have a bad deflection or something that's out of your control, but just little easy mental errors are those are the tough ones.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was a great block from Vic Moore. Now let's see how the Tropics defend this corner. We didn't see a ton of set pieces for Ontario Fury yesterday, so it'll be interesting how they line up. Looks like Stenson is looking to get a short shot, maybe a dummy play.
Tepede also out on top. Of course, Taiu down low. Silva trying to attract the attention of one of his defenders. There's the long ball across. There's the volley, and that just misses wide.
Wow, fantastic volley, inches wide right.
Ontario will keep possession here after it wasn't exactly a corner kick, but it was close. That was Jorge De Leon, by the way, who just missed on the volley. Uzi will play it over here near boards to Tepeda. Ruggles going to draw the assignment now on Taiu. Nice play by Ruggles, but he won't be able to keep possession, but driven out of play. It was deflected, though, off one of the Tropics, so this will be a corner kick. Second dangerous restart here for Ontario in the last minute.
Yeah, no, kind of pinning the Tropics back with their long, sustained possession. And what that does for Ontario Fury, they can dictate the tempo, because once Frank Taiu steps on that ball, the game becomes slow motion. Everyone's just kind of defending deep, and they can pretty much do whatever they want.
There's a shot, and I think Silva got a piece of that one, and it will be a corner kick as Juan Tepede let it rip. Simple little touch out to the side of the box, and Tepede was able to drive one that Silva got just enough of. So another corner kick, this one to the left of Silva. Tried to thread the needle to Taiu, and Ruggles was able to stop it before it got to the King, and then it's deflected off Ontario out of play. So,
well, the King is a smart player. Right now he's got to defend, so he's off the field.
Yeah, of course.
And, you know, he's saving his legs, and it's the veteran tactic that, you know, we've seen a lot of great strikers and target forwards use. Anytime they have to defend, they get off and get themselves fresh for when they retain possession.
Absolutely right. Ruggles with it at the zone yellow line. Ahead to Carvalho. Carvalho. He's been working hard today, no question about it. Here's Ruggles picking up the loose ball. Good defensive play by Pacheco, coming back to knock it away. Ruggles gets it back in the corner. A lot of congestion there, so he turns, gets it back out on top to Monaleras. Over to Arico. Arico with it. Looks deep for Reggett. Reggett being watched in there by Tepeda. There's a long shot, and that's off the mark again by Carvalho. And that just strikes me as a little bit of frustration there.
Well, and again, Ontario Fury have 5 guys behind the ball. He's beyond the yellow line. Difficult finish from that angle and that deep. So, again, for me, it's about moving the ball, getting your line changes, keeping Ontario Fury on the field for longer periods of time, and then things will gradually open up naturally.
Well, Gonzaga almost had a steal of the clear by Toth, but Fury able to recover defensively just in time. Good play by Carvalho there. Here comes a counter chance, 4-on-2. Enrique over to Ricardo. Tries to get it over. There's a header and a great defensive play. Robert Palmer takes it off the line, or the Tropics lead it 2-1. Boy, that was nice on both ends. Good play by the Tropics to set up the header, and a better play by Palmer. Sometimes you just tip the cap and say good job, and that's what Robert Palmer's job is back there as a defender, to take goals away. And boy, he took one off the board right there. Tayu back out now with it. He'll wait for a little help as Victor Pereira is on him.
I mean, that was chances. Yeah, it was a great chance on Lucio Gonzaga. Again, fantastic block. That looked like that was going to pick the corner.
For sure. Tayu trying to get some space again with the forearm to the chest of Chad Vandergriff. Didn't draw the whistle there, but Vandergriff's going to try and give it back a little bit as well. Look out here, too, in front, but the ball fortunately didn't take a very big hop off the boards, and it rolled right to Hugo Silva. He's got Vicmore Leagueway ahead of the field. Got a little space now. Picked up by Uzi Tayu there. Vandergriff will wait for some reinforcements now as the Leagueway heads to the bench, and Reggett steps onto the field. Vandergriff gets it over to Reyes. JP over to Taylor Walter Bond, and now back to Vandergriff. Reggett with it. Boy, he's just been a different player this year. No two ways about it. Just the mindset, you can tell, is much healthier, much better. He came into last season injured, and it just never got flowing for him in any way, shape, or form. I mean, he contributed, certainly, but not in the way that we know Zach Reggett can. And he quite clearly has come back determined to reestablish himself as one of the better players in the game, and has 6 goals in 2 games and a quarter and a half to show for it so far.
Yeah, no, Zach Regis got a great left foot, good target forward.
Ball in front, good play by Anthony Arico to deny that opportunity as Aguirre was cruising in there. Ruggles will take a look deep into the right corner. Breno Oliverio trying to make a run. Oliverio touches it off to Reggett. Reggett leaves it for Gonzaga. Shot, go!
Great long ball in from Ruggles off the boards. Really composed pass from Reggett to his left. And again, Gonzaga, he's an underrated finisher. If you look at his stats over the course of his career, he does fill the back of the net. And that's a really nice left-footed shot to the bottom right corner from Gonzaga.
And you know him well. You played with him in Baltimore when he was a rookie.
Yeah.
And we talked yesterday. I just love his game so much. And he had that just extra half second of patience to let Toth kind of commit himself and then slot it to the far post. Just a great effort by.
Well, it was a bit of a bang-bang play.
Yep.
The ball came off the boards. It was a little bit sloppy. Fortunate bounce for coming right into Reggett's path. And Reggett just makes a nice composed decision.
Pretty ball there by Reggett. Here's Enrique, and he stood up, and the ball is taken away. And Ontario will tie and counter, but Vandergriff sends it right back into the Fury end of the field. Here's Carvalho. Carvalho will be closely marked, and so he makes the decision to bring it back out. Pereiras with it. Yeah, don't underestimate the good play by Reggett to just lay a perfect ball off to Gonzaga making the run. And Gonzaga knew exactly what he wanted to do with it the second he got it. Here's a chance now. Tayu's taken down by Sandoval. That could be a blue card. It will be.
Well, he touched it, so it's a delayed.
Toth comes up to be the 6th attacker here because it's a delayed blue card. So until the Tropics get possession, Toth will act as a forward here, and that's always dangerous, almost like a little mini extension to the power play here.
Well, it's a 6th attacker at this point. This is 6-on-5, and you've got Toth way down low. And it's great thinking from the keeper because he recognized it right away.
Here's a long shot. That didn't miss by much, just maybe 6 inches off the foot of Stinson. And finally, the Tropics get possession and will.
Well, I think they're frustrated because, what is the exact rule? Because there was a blocked shot, and I thought for me, back in our day, it was once there was some sort of contact from the defensive team, the referees would call it. Now is it full possession?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the call was there, but obviously Sandoval is going to get a blue card here. That we know for certain, and that will result in Ontario's first power play opportunity of the afternoon.
With so many technical players for the Ontario Fury, you certainly want to limit your blue cards. Yesterday, Ontario Fury was 1 for 1. Now this is a dangerous set piece because it's so close with a man advantage. Again, when you've got the king as well, he's such a big body. When they look to try to find him inside, he's very crafty with the ball.
Ontario still looking for their first power play goal of the season, and we may have a timeout, and we do.
They scored yesterday, no?
Not according to my MASL stat pack. I don't think any. Yeah, I'll have to double check that, but it's not showing up as a power play goal. But I think you're right. They did have a power play goal yesterday on the penalty that went to
Bond.
Taylor Walter Bond. That's exactly right. So I don't think they marked it as a power play as such, but it was. But we will have to wait and see if they can find number 2 on the year as we have a timeout at the RP Funding Center. It's Florida 2, Ontario 1. Back with more action in just a moment. This is MASL TV.
We are the Bond Clinic.
We are your medical services.
Comprehensive, personalized, state-of-the-art healthcare designed to serve you and your family.
We are community.
For over 70 years, the Bond Clinic physicians and our team of specialists deliver expert treatments and outstanding care. With over 90 providers, from pediatrics to diabetic care, lab services to sports medicine, we put your health first. Healthcare excellence in our community. The Bond Clinic.
We believe everyone can compete in the arena. Make the play, and score the winning goal. Because the heart of a champion lives in all of us.
The official match ball of the MASL is designed and produced by Flight, expertly designed for the indoor game. Flight is the premier partner of choice. Flight, challenge everything. And it'll be Thiago Gonçalves looking to put that flight ball into play here on the power play midway through the second quarter. 2-1 Tropics. Actually, the restart will come off the foot of Jeff Hughes, blocked on the Florida defense. So that opportunity goes awry.
That's great pressure from Anthony Arrico. Just those little subtle things. Put a little pressure on the defender, knocks it out of bounds. Now you might be able to find Zach Reggett deep, and you can take some sting out of the ball, maybe 30, 40 seconds off.
Vandegrift will try and play it forward, and instead played it right onto the foot of Juan Topeda. So any chance to run, the clock just went by the boards.
Yes, exactly.
And that's a mental error. I mean, there was no reason he had to make that pass. He had plenty of room to, and other options that with the shorter ball to a teammate that would have definitely run some clock.
Yeah, I think Chad's just been off a little bit on his connecting of passes, but I love what Anthony Arrico's doing.
And they will call the foul.
So this is where you've got to be a little bit of a savvy indoor team. You know, can you find Zach Reggett? Can he step on the ball? Can you maybe 20, 30, 40 seconds off the clock and give your man down some time to breathe and recover?
Ruggles will take a look here. Arico is a tremendous penalty killer, and again, just almost a quick giveaway, but Regan instead comes out of it over to Vandergriff, and Vandergriff will this time do the smart thing and play it all the way back to Montoleras. Now to Ruggles. Ontario going to have to chase a little bit here. Stinson on Ruggles, and then Stinson takes it away. Here's a 2-on-1 opportunity. Nice ball through. Good play by Vandergriff as he recovered and took it away from Topete right there. And that will go out of play. And Juan a little disgusted with himself, but tip of the hat to Vandergriff there to recover nicely.
No, that's fantastic transition defense. I think Ruggles is probably upset about himself, trying to do a little bit of a maybe too much trickery against Stenson because he's a very athletic, quick player, and taking some big risks there.
Topete with it, gets around Ruggles briefly. Now there's a shot at the top of the arc and a goal. Nice play by Topete to set up Stinson. And the Tropics have paid for the blue card. It's now 2-2.
Well, just like yesterday, I think there's just too many technical players for the Ontario Fury. You don't want to give up too many blue cards against them because they're very composed, technical. They move the ball extremely well, and that's a tough one to give up. But composed finish, bottom right corner.
Yeah, nicely struck, no question about it.
You look at the replay, there's some good ball movement. I think Chad comes up in a second. He comes at the wrong angle and allowing him to go right. And maybe there's a little bit of a screen, but.
And that's actually Gonsalves who got the goal. He's got the Platinum Dew along with Stinson, and it was Gonsalves from outside the top of the arc that slots it home. So we're tied at 2. It was that kind of game yesterday. No one had more than a 2-goal lead in the game. The Tropics had just one lead at 3-2 in the second quarter and then never had the lead again. The biggest lead Ontario had yesterday was 6-4. It was basically a back-and-forth tie or one-goal game all the way through until the fourth quarter. And then, of course, Reggett getting the goal to bring the Tropics back within one late, but no equalizer was to materialize.
When you look, too, at the lineup right now, you got Lucas Montoleras still on from the man down. You got Ruggles still on, so they're not able to get off. This is a long spell for those two players.
I think Ruggles going to head to the bench now. No. Had a
Energizer
chance.
Bunny.
Yeah. Good for him. Ooh, Gonzaga pushed down. Ontario bench not thrilled with that call. Thought maybe Gonzaga did it to himself there, but he had a little help, it looked like, between the ball and the Ontario defender, so the whistle blows. Vandergriff, nice anticipation. Enrique with it. Bruno trying to create some space, but nice defensive play by Palmer. He never panicked and is able to take it away from Enrique.
Oh, really good defensive play.
Yeah, that
Palmer.
was a veteran play right there on a young player, no question.
Well, there's been some flashes from Enrique that I've liked. He looks tidy with the ball. He's quick. He's agile. And we'll see if he can put his imprint on this game.
Counter here for Ontario. It's Mansoure with it. Leaves it off for a teammate with 4:20 to go. Palmer, who just made that good defensive play, now gets it over to Gonsalves.
Well, you can just see the tempo right now is dictated by the Ontario field, just like it was yesterday for a few of the quarters. They don't rush. They can pick and choose their times to find the target.
Ball in front to Tayu, and didn't quite have the angle there. Enrique with it. Looks to play it off the boards to a teammate. Pereira's knocked down. Good play by Enrique to get away with that one. Here's a 2-on-1 for the Tropics if they hurry. Pereira's tried to thread the needle, gets it back, puts it in front. Enrique didn't have quite the right angle himself to make a redirect, and it went wide. Still 3.5 to go here. Sandoval with it. Gets it to Victor. He'll get it back out to Vandergriff now. Time for the Tropics to have a little possession. I don't think that part of the game has been quite as lopsided as yesterday, but still has definitely tilted towards Ontario here in the first half. But
yeah, I think that's just part of their DNA. That's the way they play. I think the Tropics like to get out in transition. They don't love long periods of possession.
Nice run here by Taylor Walter Bond. He gets by 3 guys, still has it. Shot, goal!
Wow. That was just a solo run.
Boy, attention MASL Mothership. There's a goal of the week candidate. What an individual effort by Taylor Walter Bond. We said he wanted to atone for a bobble yesterday, and boy, what a way to do it.
Well, big relief from him as well. You can see how happy he is. That's really a good solo run down the boards and kind of fakes it like he's going to play it inside. We'll get a good replay here.
So he beats one guy, he beats two guys, still has it,
three.
beats a third guy, still has it, almost an impossible angle, and still able to lift it up over Toth and into the back of the net. What a goal.
Yeah, that's a fantastic goal. Beating three players, scoops it over Toth. I think Toth's going to want that one back. He gets beat near post, but you can't take anything away from the finish.
That is a tremendous goal by Taylor Walter Bond. And the Tropics back on top. Back and forth we go here for the second straight game. First of the year for Taylor Walter Bond, who signed with the Tropics as a free agent from the San Diego Sockers this
I was just going to say,
past
Rico with
season.
a very good defensive effort, but he gets whistled for the foul. This is a difficult free kick to defend because you're so deep close to Hugo Silva.
And it is always a challenge. Nice ball through and a shot and a great finish by Stinson. Boy, that is top shelf class prime USDA grade 1 finish by Justin Stinson.
Wow, and a composed finish inside of his right foot, top right corner. I think the Tropics defended that free kick a little bit sloppy, allowing that pass to go through. We'll probably get a replay here, but again, deep free kicks are always difficult because you've got to put two players in the wall. Ultimately, there's always going to be one free player.
So we're tied at 3.
Well, we're getting a little bit of action anyway for the fans back and forth.
Well, we expected it. It's been very similar to what we saw yesterday. Two really good teams. I mean, as you alluded to much earlier in the broadcast, Robbie, there are so many teams in the league this year that are so good. I mean, it's really, it is not hard at all to sit here and make the case that 2/3 at least of the league, 8 of the 12 teams are legitimate threats to make a deep run into the playoffs, and you might even be able to make a case to go 9 or 10 deep. We'll see, but I mean, there are just talented rosters everywhere. I don't think anyone in this league is going to go out and win 19, 20, 21 games this year. It's more going to be like you put up 16, 17 wins. That's going to be a heck of a good regular season.
No, and you love that. If you're a commissioner of the league and all the coaches and players, because there's only 12 teams, there's everybody in the country and in the world, because it's such a fantastic game to play, want to come and play in the MASL, and obviously rightfully so. It's dynamic, it's fast.
And it's fun. That's what
it
I
may
tell the
cripple you
guys
when
all
you're
the time. They do all the hard work. I just parachute in and out and have fun. Good steal by Sandoval. Sandoval. He had a couple of goals on that season opening road trip. Reggett, though, not able to get enough on it to find Carvalho on the cut.
Yeah, just the wrong angle from Reggett. Too close to the boards. When you're too close, you just can't get that bounce to the middle of the field. But you do like Reggett's energy right now, and the Tropics are starting to turn the table.
Zach with it. He had two guys with him, and I think he had too many choices and lost the ball. He had Ruggles to his left and Carvalho to his right, almost a 3-on-1, and again, just a little mental lapse. Here's Pereiras with a shot. That goes out of play. Boy, that is just, again, just a little thing that turns into a big thing. And
very impressed with one of the captains for the Ontario Fury, number 23.
Yeah, Cisse. Yeah.
A lot of blocks are already in this first half. Very good 1v1 defender, and also a composed attacking player as well.
Excellent defender, no question about it. Here's Pereiras in front through the box. There's a shot, and Toth able to deny that one off the foot of J.P. Reyes. Here's a counter again. Pereiras with it. Pereiras leaves it off for Carvalho. Shot! Toth with a save. Enrique almost there to collect the rebound. Now Carvalho steps in. He loses it. And Yuzi Tayo will clear it to his brother Frank in a foot race with Drew Ruggles, and it'll bounce over the boards and out of play.
Well, it's another good opportunity. I like what Victor Pereiras is doing now. He's starting to get more involved in the game. He's a fantastic 1v1 player. He can use both feet. And again, the more he touches the ball, the better the Tropics will be in the offensive third.
Yeah, he's kind of the poor man's version of Frank Tayo, if you will, for the Tropics. Nice ball to Taylor Walter Bond, who had Enrique coming, and I don't know if he meant that as a shot or a pass, but either way it didn't work at the end. But Taylor Walter Bond starting to, as you would say, Robbie, imprint himself on this game. By the way, I know we get that question once in a while. He goes by Walter Bond because Walter is the last name of Bond's stepfather, Stephen Walter, who actually raised Taylor. So it's kind of a tribute to his dad that he goes by Taylor Walter Bond. Sometimes you see it as just Taylor Bond, but I did actually have a nice conversation with him during the preseason, and I said, which do you prefer? And he was definite that he wanted to make sure homage was paid. Shot goal!
Wow, kind of out of nothing, Brian. A nice ball from J.P. Reyes. First assist of the season. Top shelf.
Vicmore Aligwe with a tremendous finish.
Really, I think it surprises the Ontario Fury keeper.
I think so.
Thinking he was going to go far post with a pass, but he went top shelf instead.
And that comes with just 12 seconds to go here in the first half, and that's a momentum changer potentially. As Reyes had the space, nice ball to Aligwe, and yeah, he had Taylor Walter Bond making that run down the left side, and Aligwe just put it up high and over the shoulder of Toth, who might have been cheating a little bit, thinking that Taylor Walter Bond was going to be the intended target there.
Very difficult for a right-footed shooter on that side to get top shelf on the left, on the keeper's right. So credit to him.
Well, that is a very entertaining half of soccer as Zach Reggett banged into one of the Ontario defenders there late, and we do have a blue card that's come out here. Now, this will be assessed in the second half, but I'm assuming it's going to be against Ontario.
It looked like maybe a kind of a studs up, so to speak. We use that in the outdoor game quite a bit. But
of course, they don't wear actual studs in the indoor game. But, yeah, there was I don't know if we'll get a chance to see a replay there. It was kind of just a scrum and a collision for a loose ball outside the penalty arc there, and Reggett took the worst of it. And Ontario's going to have a man-down situation. I mean,
well, and I think that's a perfect storm, getting a goal with 12 seconds left in the second quarter, and now starting the third quarter with a man up.
That's like getting a touchdown in football in the last second and getting the kickoff to start the second half. That's the old daily double, and Jimmy Norberg still off the bench to complain, and now a yellow card has been issued against Norberg by Ryan Sigich.
Yeah, a lot of complaints. I mean, and it looks like Zach Reggett is really struggling, so I think it's a good call. Without seeing the replay, it's difficult because it was a bit of a scrum.
Uzi Tayo is complaining. Jimmy Norberg still complaining. And Ryan Sigich is just going to take it all in. He's already issued the blue card. He's issued the yellow card. So we'll sort it all out during the halftime, but a very entertaining first 30 minutes we thought it would be. And these two teams have not disappointed at all this weekend. Plenty more to come from the RP Funding Center. In fact, the more to come sign is up. That's only the half of it. It's the Florida Tropics 4, the Ontario Fury 3. Back in a moment on MASL TV.
We are the Bond Clinic.
We are your medical services.
Comprehensive, personalized, state-of-the-art healthcare designed to serve you and your family.
We are community.
For over 70 years, the Bond Clinic physicians and our team of specialists deliver expert treatments and outstanding care. With over 90 providers, from pediatrics to diabetic care, lab services to sports medicine, we put your health first. Healthcare excellence in our community. The Bond Clinic.
We believe everyone can compete in the arena. Make the play, and score the winning goal. Because the heart of a champion lives in all of us.
Okay, so I locked my keys in my car. It could happen to anybody. Anyway, this guy shows up with this piece of metal to unlock my car. Does that thing work, I asked? Like a charm, he says. What happened next? I don't like to remember. You wouldn't believe what he did to my car.
Should have called Papa Lock. Papa Lock's friendly professionals will have your door open fast and at a price that'll make you smile. Next time, call Papa Lock.
We are the Bond Clinic.
We are your medical services.
Comprehensive, personalized, state-of-the-art healthcare designed to serve you and your family.
We are community.
For over 70 years, the Bond Clinic physicians and our team of specialists deliver expert treatments and outstanding care. With over 90 providers, from pediatrics to diabetic care, lab services to sports medicine, we put your health first. Healthcare excellence in our community. The Bond Clinic.
We believe everyone can compete in the arena. Make the play, and score the winning goal. Because the heart of a champion lives in all of us.
Okay, so I locked my keys in my car. It could happen to anybody. Anyway, this guy shows up with this piece of metal to unlock my car. Does that thing work, I asked? Like a charm, he says. What happened next? I don't like to remember. You wouldn't believe what he did to my car.
Should have called Papa Lock. Papa Lock's friendly professionals will have your door open fast and at a price that'll make you smile. Next time, call Papa Lock.
We are the Bond Clinic.
We are your medical services.
Comprehensive, personalized, state-of-the-art healthcare designed to serve you and your family.
We are community.
For over 70 years, the Bond Clinic physicians and our team of specialists deliver expert treatments and outstanding care. With over 90 providers, from pediatrics to diabetic care, lab services to sports medicine, we put your health first. Healthcare excellence in our community. The Bond Clinic.
We believe everyone can compete in the arena. Make the play, and score the winning goal. Because the heart of a champion lives in all of us.
Like he's been as big a presence and been as dominant and as controlling in terms of the game as he was yesterday, and that may be due to a lot of things, but that's been my observation. Do you think that's an accurate one?
No, it's certainly accurate. He hasn't really imprinted the game as he did yesterday, where I felt yesterday he really was getting touches on the ball. And part of that is the Tropics, a little bit more possession. I think they're putting a little bit more pressure on the Ontario Fury defenders, so the entry balls aren't as easy. And I think ultimately the energy is just a little bit better tonight for the Tropics.
Yeah, I think they have cleaned a few things up. Still some miscues that obviously have been potentially costly. We'll see. Good news is the Tropics will actually start the second half on the power play, just to clean kind of that up officially at the end of the half. The blue card was on Juan Tepeda, and that was for pushing. as Zach Reggett got kind of pushed from behind in there. The Ontario Fury not happy about it. The yellow card was not on Coach Jimmy Norberg. It was on Uzi Tayu, the defender who was part of that scrum and was the most vociferous in objecting to the penalty. So he will have to take a seat for the first 5 minutes of the third quarter as well. And the Tropics get the goal with 12 seconds to go in the half. That is always a potential kind of game changer and momentum changer. We'll start to take a look at some of these highlights from the first half, and I believe we're going to take our first look at the Tayu goal.
Yeah, this was, I think, just allowing basically the King to get right into the middle. This is the most dangerous spot to be as a target forward. Spins Chad, easy finish.
Yeah, that is too easy, as we like to say in the game, and Tropics caught with 4 players outside the yellow line. Here's the second goal, or actually this is Hugo Silva making his best save, obviously, of the first half. Just came out and denied Stinson, who, as we know, is a great finisher. And then here comes the Tropics' second goal. Oh, no, that was the great header that was saved by Robert Palmer off the line, yeah.
This is the other one from Reggett. Composed, nice little slot to his left. Lucy Gonzaga, again, bottom right corner. Really clinical finisher as a veteran.
Yeah, that was a dandy finish by Gonzaga. Just love his game. So it's 2-1, and we've just gone back and forth, and there's just a Gonsalves with a very simple shot and well-placed. Goal of the game by Taylor Walter Bond right here.
Yeah, just went by 3 players and scoops the keeper, and really that's going to be a highlight that he's going to remember for a long time.
That was just a dandy individual effort. 3-3 our score, and then this one late by the Tropics. It'll come off the foot of Vicmore Eligwe. Nice ball by J.P. Reyes to look up the field, and I think Toth just looks like he took like a half a step or a quarter of a step, thinking that Taylor Walter Bond was going to be the target there, back post, and Eligwe fooled him and kind of pulled the string on one and put it up over Toth to make it a 4-3 game. Boy, what entertaining soccer here, Robbie. These two teams definitely in the conversation among the ones that can be really serious contenders. Ontario already, we know, went to the championship finals last year. And even though there were only 7 teams in the league, 6 of the 7 were really all-star rosters. And so getting to the finals last year was not as easy as it sounds. And take nothing away from Ontario or San Diego that won it. They deserved it, earned it. But this is a new season, 12 teams in the league, so the talent's a little more spread. But the rosters are stacked in places like Kansas City and San Diego and Ontario. Don't go to sleep on somebody like Chihuahua. Ontario, Florida obviously factors. Baltimore, Utica, despite their slow start, is going to every bit be a factor, I believe, before all is said and done. And so a win today is, it's not critical. I mean, you're never going to put so much pressure on yourself in the 4th game of a 24-game season, but kind of important, I guess, is how I would classify it for the Tropics. Splitting with a team like Ontario is no shame in that, and you can kind of go into a 2-week break for the holidays feeling a little better about yourself. And so this final 30 minutes is kind of important, I guess I would call it, for the Tropics.
No, I actually think this next 2 minutes with the man-up advantage is critical right now. If you can get yourself a 2-goal lead and start to gain some momentum at home. But, I do think it's important. You don't want to go 0-2 at home. Your home opener, you lose a tight thriller, 6-5. And then today, right now, obviously it's another tight game, and we both know that at any given point, the King can come up and score a couple of goals. So this is going to be a critical 2 minutes, and I know Clay Roberts talking to them at halftime. They've got to start sharp and figure out how they can get one on this man-up advantage.
Yeah, and they started very sharp in the first 4 or 5 minutes. They came out kind of a team possessed. Had to be impressed with Hugo Silva gritting it out. If you were with us right from the top of the broadcast, you know that we weren't sure at all whether or not Hugo Silva was even going to be in the building, much less dressed for the game. He banged the shoulder up pretty good yesterday in a goal crease collision and actually was off getting medical treatment this morning, including an x-ray, which the good news is that was negative, we understand, so there's no serious damage in the shoulder, but obviously a lot of discomfort and a lot of pain. He didn't get to the arena until about 30 minutes before kickoff, so he pretty literally went from his car to his uniform to coming out of the tunnel as the starter. Didn't have any warm-up time, and boy, that's tough when you don't have that opportunity to kind of set yourself not only physically, I think, but you can speak to this as a player. It's kind of time to set yourself mentally too, right?
No, certainly. I mean, without any warm-up, banged up a little bit, just coming back from the doctor's office. Yeah, the mental part of the game plays a big factor. Obviously, he's a veteran of the game, so that helps tremendously. And he's had a good showcase for the first 2 quarters.
And I can tell you, as having called all his games here since he came over from the Harrisburg Heat, he is a workhorse. It's not ideal always, but he has played through a lot of, beyond just nicks and bruises and bumps, injuries that probably would keep lesser players out. And he does it as a goalkeeper in this league, which is, I think you have got to be a little half crazy to begin with to put yourself in harm's way with some of these shots. But Hugo Silva, 2 times now an MASL All-Star, second-team All-Star the last 2 seasons. He's earned every bit of it, and then again, even more so here this afternoon. But he'll need to be sharp as well over the final 30 minutes as the Tropics look to improve to 3-1 on the season and hand the Fury their first loss of 2021-22. We'll be back to see how the third quarter unfolds in just a couple of minutes. Stay with us. It's the Florida Tropics 4, the Ontario Fury 3. Back with the start of the third quarter and a Florida Tropics power play right after this on MASL TV.
We are the Bond Clinic.
We are your medical services.
Comprehensive, personalized, state-of-the-art healthcare designed to serve you and your family.
We are community.
For over 70 years, the Bond Clinic physicians and our team of specialists deliver expert treatments and outstanding care. With over 90 providers, from pediatrics to diabetic care, lab services to sports medicine, we put your health first. Healthcare excellence in our community. The Bond Clinic.
We believe everyone can compete in the arena. Make the play, and score the winning goal. Because the heart of a champion lives in all of us.
Okay, so I locked my keys in my car. It could happen to anybody. Anyway, this guy shows up with this piece of metal to unlock my car. Does that thing work, I asked? Like a charm, he says. What happened next? I don't like to remember. You wouldn't believe what he did to my car.
Should have called Papa Lock. Papa Lock's friendly professionals will have your door open fast and at a price that'll make you smile. Next time, call Papa Lock.
Yeah, it could be.
He
didn't really do anything. Either way, I think.
Back here at the RP Funding Center in Lakeland as we get ready for the third quarter, Uzi Tayu still over debating his penalty with the officiating crew here, and his brother Frank doing the brotherly thing and taking up for Uzi as well with Ryan Sigich, but I don't think they're going to win that battle, as Uzi will start the third quarter in the penalty box and the Tropics will start on the power play. So a chance here early, Robbie, to set that tone that the Tropics haven't had a 2-goal lead all weekend. In fact, their only lead was 1 goal yesterday. It's been 1 goal 4 times now here today, but the reality is 2 goals isn't really a cushion in the indoor game, but it does give you a little bit of breathing room and changes the dynamic, maybe just enough to kind of really tilt the field in Florida's favor here.
No, I think it's critical as well. And again, it's having the Ontario Fury defend as well for long periods of time. You're talking about fatigue, and it's a back-to-back. They've got to come into the third quarter now and defend this 2-minute power play. But obviously, if you're looking for what the Tropics need to do, it's about ball movement. It's about finding Reggett. And you like how Victor Parejas, he's going to start a little bit lower down the boards because he likes to roll it in with his soul and find that back post. So we'll see if Ruggles and Gonzaga can create some opportunities.
So here we go. It's a full 2-minute power play because that blue card came right at the horn to end the first half. Gonzaga with it, down to Carvalho. Gonzaga and Carvalho going to play a little footsie here. On top to Ruggles. Some high pressure now by the Fury. Carvalho gets it down low, but back on top now to Ruggles. Being watched by Nestor Hernandez. Now down low finally to Pereiras to Ruggles. Takes a shot. That one never got through. Rebound hits the post.
Wow, that was a cannon from Victor Pereiras down low.
Yeah, it was.
Inside of the post. Unfortunate.
Kissed it flush off the woodwork. Nice ball down to Carvalho, and he's not able to convert. I think Toth got a piece of that one. Some good chances here on the power play. Still a minute 10 to go with the man advantage.
Yeah, you love what Lucio Gonzaga's doing. Just really composed.
Shot it right at Toth there. I don't think that's exactly what he wanted, but Toth wasn't able to control it, so possession will stay with the Tropics. Here's Carvalho. Tries to create that extra space with a roll and can't do it. Has another shot blocked. Nestor Hernandez can't catch up to that loose ball. Ruggles corrals it at the center circle. Left side to Pereiras, who came within an inch of making it 5-3. Gonzaga with it. Now Ruggles with some space. Ruggles back to Lucio. Gonzaga lays it down low to Carvalho. Tropics were looking like they could be dangerous there for a minute, and instead never really did get a shot away. Silva comes all the way over into the Fury half of the field, down to Reggett now. Lays it off Carvalho. Shot saved short side by Toth. Think it might have been going wide. Here's Pereiras. Toth didn't want to take a chance, though. Now to Gonzaga. Gonzaga looking for his second of the game. Here's Ruggles. Down low to Pereiras. Toth able to parry that one away, and the power play going to end in about 3 seconds. So the Tropics are unable to convert on the power play. Here's again a ball down low. Good play by Cisse, as we mentioned. Been impressed with his defensive work, but here comes a restart from the top of the arc now for Florida. So
probably a good time for a line change as well, because
exactly
2
right.
minutes and but this is another big opportunity. What does Clay Roberts have up his sleeve? This is something that they would obviously practice time and time again.
Well, we'll find out in a minute, because Ricardo Carvalho took a timeout, and part of that may be what you were just talking about. They didn't actually change much in terms of what they had out there in the power play unit, and that's really dangerous. If you don't convert and you've had guys already out there for 2 minutes and 8 seconds, and all of a sudden Ontario goes on a counter, and that's as much perhaps of that strategy behind the timeout as you want to keep your most dangerous shooters out there like Drew and Carvalho and Victor Pereiras, but you certainly don't want to put them in a situation that puts them at a handicap defensively because they've had such a long shift. So gives Clay Roberts a chance to get out the whiteboard and draw something up specifically, but it also gives the Tropics a chance to take a sip of water and catch their breaths and regroup.
Yeah, maybe there's an opportunity for a double pass. Again, I was fortunate enough, certainly more in my Blast days, we had some really, really good shooters. You're talking about Denison Cabral, Juliana Salenza, and these guys were lethal on the sort of top of the box. So we really were never that tricky. It's about just finding the right shooter and letting them do their thing. And I think, with Reggett, Carvalho, Pereiras, you've got some really lethal shooters. And I think it's about just the quality of the pass and the pace of the pass.
Next time we get a break in the action, Robbie, I want to ask you about David Bescombe, who's now the new head coach in Baltimore, a guy you played with for a number of years and know well, and longtime coach Danny Kelly, no longer there, who, for my money, honestly, one of the top 2 or 3 coaches in indoor soccer over the last decade as far as I'm concerned. And David Bescombe, longtime assistant there under Danny, so that certainly will play into it. But want to get your thoughts when we get a moment or two on Bescombe, because that's a division rival again with the Baltimore Blast, and we'll get 3 more chances to match up against the Baltimore Blast here this regular season. Of course, Tropics with that 6-4 win on opening night in Baltimore back on December 4th. Reggett will approach. Now it's going to be Pereira's shot, and Toth makes the save. He got it around the wall, but Toth had it well played and made the save, a good one, but nothing fancy there. Pereiras had enough of a shooting lane to take a crack and almost powered it through.
Yeah, and I think, as I said before, sometimes when you overthink it, it can kind of mess with your top of the box. So I don't mind the play. It's a dummy, and Victor Perez comes around and smashes with his right foot. Just a great save.
Yeah, and that's that's kind of one of those shooter choice opportunities. If he sees that opportunity and sees that shooting lane, then obviously pulling the trigger, not a bad idea at all. Pereira's with it again. Gets it in front. Enrique tries to create some space. Bruno still with it. Shot. Toth makes the save. Can't control the rebound. Carvalho there with it in front. Enrique takes a whack and couldn't get it again. Boy, Bruno trying to create some opportunities here as Monaleris takes Stinson into the boards, or at least interferes with him enough to draw the foul.
Well, it's another big save from Toth. Again, he's starting to stand on his head a little bit. Very quick, agile, athletic keeper. Can get side to side very fast. Obviously, this is my first time seeing him play, and he's been very impressive.
Did you ever play against his dad? I doubt it, because Zoltan would have played probably back. I'd have to double check, but probably a little bit before your time.
Yeah, I'm not that old.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Here's Stinson ahead of the field. So many great goalies through the years in the MISL and the MASL.
Yeah, I played a lot with Sagu. Victor Nogueira was special.
One of the best ever. Yeah.
But when I played with him with the Sockers, he was obviously getting up in years, but he was exactly like you just said, one of the best ever.
Of course, made most of his bread and butter in Milwaukee.
Yes. Yeah, Brett Phillips was in the league when I was there.
Right.
As outstanding keeper. Sagu was always a good keeper. Of course, Victor Nogueira.
My personal favorite going way back was Slobo Ilyashevsky, who starred for the St. Louis Ambush. He was a showman. He would come off his line 15, 20 times a game and join the offensive thrust. And, boy, he was just so much fun to watch and equal parts entertainment and talent, and was what made the game so special back in the late 70s and early 80s.
Yeah. No, there's so many great keepers. Peter Pappas comes to mind for the Philadelphia Kicks.
Yeah.
Clay Roberts' teammate.
Right. Won a championship there in Philadelphia, did Clay. Like to bring one home to Lakeland this year. Ironic, the Tropics have never actually played a home playoff game in now their 6th year here, despite going 28-6 over the last 2 seasons. Of course, 2 years ago in March is when the pandemic had its first outbreak and everything was canceled, including the Tropics' final 3 games of the regular season and the playoffs. So they were declared Eastern Conference champions, but no playoff games that year. And last season, when the Tropics had the best regular season record, the playoff games were played at a neutral site, the first round in Kansas City. So that's where the Tropics and San Diego played their first 2 games, and unfortunately the Tropics not able to advance. Not that they would have played any home games anyway. They were all neutral site games as Enrique tries to make a steal. So despite all the success the Tropics have had in the regular season over the past couple of years, they have never had a home playoff game here in Lakeland. Hoping to change that here in 21-22.
Frank Taiu, for a big man, he's really smart. He knows when to just check in front of the defender. He's a really good passer of the ball. I think it's probably an underrated skill that people don't realize because he scores so many goals, but he's very cheeky and crafty, certainly with his body, but the way he rolls the ball and manipulates the ball, it's impressive.
Gonsalves being watched by Breno Oliveria. Can't wait for Breno to get his first. He's going to get one here sooner rather than later. Speaking of the King, he will come out to get it at the center line, and then De Leon overruns it for a moment and recovers. Down to Palmer, who's pushed forward from his normal defensive spot. Now he'll head to the bench for a change.
A long sustained possession. Now you're allowing Ontario Fury to kind of go through their lines, stay fresh, and consequently, the Tropics are defending for long periods of time.
Here comes Taiu again. Taiu over the yellow line. This time Ruggles gets the better of Frank, at least for a moment. Ligwe trying to track it down. Now Gonzaga with a heads-up play right back to Silva, blocked on the outlet. Here's a dangerous chance, and finally Silva comes out to take it off the boards as Tepeda is unable to
Well, it's a great chance from the Freary there because they were up numbers.
Yeah, they were. That was unfortunate for Ontario. That ball from Tayu had just enough spin on it that Tepeda was not able to settle it in time, and Silva was able to come out and put his mitts on it. Monolaris through to Carvalho, trying to get it over to Reggett, and there's a foul, and this will be a dangerous restart spot here for the Tropics just outside the penalty arc.
Yeah, actually, I thought it was even a little bit closer to the box. But
yeah, it was, but this is still going to be dangerous, so we'll see how the Tropics want to play this.
Well, especially if you've got 3 Ontario Fury players in the wall, this is a great opportunity for a skip pass or a double pass.
And that wall was nowhere near deep enough, but they didn't step it off, unfortunately, and Ontario was able to make a block, and part of that is because that wall was not deep enough. Here's a shot, and Carvalho with a save. Reggett with a bicycle kick try, and he hurt himself, I think, on that one. He was pretty shaken up in the first.
Well, that was a fantastic play from Reggett.
It was. I hope it wasn't one of those.
It looks like it landed on his hip, but
unfortunate situations where trying to make a spectacular play did more damage than good. We'll see. Looks like Nick Olgi going to just maybe help him to his feet. We'll take another look here. But 2 great cracks. That's as good a shot and opportunity as Carvalho's had in a while here. Created nice space, got the hips turned, and was able to get a good shot on goal. Reggett going to take a ginger and slow walk off the field. We mentioned it yesterday. This and most surfaces around indoor soccer are very unforgiving. Just a very thin layer of AstroTurf over a pad of cement, literally. And so,
well, yeah. And anytime you try a scissors kick, or you're going to be landing on that hip, and it's going to hurt. He'll feel that in the next week or so.
Well, the good news for the Tropics is they'll have a couple of weeks to do some rest and recovery over the holidays. They will not be back in action until a visit by Utica City on January 2nd. In fact, Utica in here twice. Here's a nice steal by Enrique. Enrique with a shot, misses short side, gets a rebound. Carvalho can't control it. Sandoval down, shot, great save by Toth as he robs Arico. What a read by Chris Toth.
And I think Enrique's going to want that one back.
I think so.
It was almost a 3-on-0.
Yeah, it was close.
So.
Yeah, it was 3-on-1 for sure.
Yeah.
And
you're going to have to let, again, that back post pass, it's underrated skill, but finding that back post and getting easy goals, certainly on those transition moments.
He had a 3-on-2 goal in Baltimore that I thought was a really good decision, and he did take the shot. He was the middle forward, and the defense just kind of peeled away and allowed Enrique to continue push towards goal, and he's a great finisher and let it fire from about 25 feet and cleanly beat William Van Zela as Tayu's taken down. Crowd doesn't like it. But that time, I think the pass was the better decision, but score will stay at 4-3 here.
Yeah, Tayu doesn't get rattled. He's obviously used to getting bodied.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, and he just kind of goes about his job. But it's unfortunately, I think Enrique had a great opportunity there to go up 2 with 7:49 in the third. He's going to want that one back.
Enrique again with a good steal. Can see why you like his game.
Yep.
Gonzaga with it. He doesn't really have numbers, so he's going to look for some help, and still double teamed, a little dangerous here, and has it taken away. That's no help from his players, and they're a 2-on-1 the other way, and Silva again comes out to make the save. That was
another fantastic save from Silva.
That was a big one, as Gonzaga was waiting for some help from a teammate, and the other 4 players on the floor just standing around watching and didn't give Gonzaga any place to pass the ball, and finally had his pocket picked. Not reasonable to expect that he'd keep possession that long, and almost made
I think they were
the Tropics pay for that.
Fortunate that wasn't going to be a top of the arc.
Yeah, that was close, but it'll be a kick in here for Ontario about halfway between the Florida yellow line and the midfield stripe. Enrique, who's created a couple of turnovers and chances with some pressure. Now Taylor Walter Bond with some. Should mention, by the way, that tremendous individual effort goal by Bond at the end of the first quarter was a milestone goal for him. That was his 100th career goal as a pro in the indoor game. Appeared now in 115 games, and has 100 career goals. So congratulations to Taylor on that accomplishment. How many did you end up with, Robbie? Do you know?
No, it's a good question. I don't even know what I did
One of those
yesterday.
rare athletes that can't tell you off the top of his head his exact. Now, I looked it up because I know you played 273 career games. So
I think I got one for the Tropics. That's the only one that matters.
Crowd really starting to get a little frustrated here. The Tropics want to make sure they keep their cool. Oliverio trying to get the turnover at midfield, but it'll come back to Uzi Tayu.
I tell you what, Frank Tayu, he's been on the field a long time, and it's an opportunity for the Tropics to expose that.
Yeah, he's almost limping back. Shot Toth from distance turns away Oliveria. And that will keep Tayo out on the floor. But, yeah, he's chugging out there right now. He needs to go to the bench, and he will finally find his way there.
He'll go when this team loses the ball for sure.
Exactly. Here's Carvalho with it. He's starting to look a little sharper, and perhaps maybe he'll finally get that breakthrough he's looking for. Carvalho with it, one-on-one here. Nice little ball through to a league way, but well read by the Ontario defense, and Cisse will, or rather, that was Palmer coming back the other way, and Silva with another big save as Nestor Hernandez got the shot away.
Yeah, so far, Silva player of the game for me. He's made 3 tremendous saves, point blank.
Guy that we weren't even sure was going to
It's 5-second count?
play. Yeah, well, and it's a 4-second count now. That's another tweak to the rules that
you rarely see that being called.
Yeah, that was about 4.5 seconds. that was not anything.
They're running a tight ship.
7 or 8. Usually an official will give you a little bit of leeway there, and I know Clay is not happy about that one. He's going to let Ryan Sigich, I think, hear about it. In fact, I think Clay may have called a timeout.
Yeah, you don't typically see that, and again, it wasn't.
Yeah, you really don't. That was not. If it's blatant, if we get into the 6, 7, 8 second range, and I don't think we were there. No, Silva going to plead his case, but not going to win the argument. And what it means, by the way, is a restart at the top of the arc for Ontario. So this is a great opportunity for the Fury to.
Yeah. No, they have such great shooters as well. So this is going to be a big top of the box defensively for the Tropics, and obviously for the Ontario Fury as well. You've got 4:49. You're only up 1, and you've unfortunately you've given up a key set piece for the away team
under somewhat suspect circumstances.
Yeah, I agree.
And I will defend the officials on this point. They're very demonstrative when they're counting out the seconds. It's not like they're just kind of standing there with a stopwatch waiting for an aha moment at 4.1 seconds. So goalkeepers can certainly see what the count is, and apparently in the opinion of the senior referee, the head of the referees in the MASL, Ryan Sigich.
And he's been doing it for a long time.
A couple of years.
Yeah.
He's very, very good, no question about it. And I'm sure if it was more than 4 seconds, he's not going to argue that point. But maybe a grace second or two wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world.
Well, my money is this ball goes to Stinson there. And he's got a great composed finish. Obviously, he's already scored on the day.
Yeah.
And possibly a dummy play, wrap around for his right foot.
Frank Tayu down left to the right of Silva, who makes a save. And Gonsalves was the guy right off the bat that, just like Victor Pereira drove it from the top of the arc on Florida's restart. It was Gonsalves who.
I always find it funny when you have a timeout and you just just to shoot it.
Well, I think in this case, Clay actually cut. There's a shot to go! Anthony Rico!
He always comes up with a spectacular, but that was a scissors kick, top right corner out of nothing. I can remember years ago, Victor Perez with a bicycle kick. This might have been 3 years ago, but that was a fantastic goal from Rico. Off the boards, it comes off, and he elects to do a little side scissors top corner. I think it kind of surprised Toth.
Yeah, that was a beauty. Talk about goals of the week candidate. That might be one as well as Anthony Arrico, who just one of those guys that with heart and hustle has puts himself in the right spot. And, boy, what a finish for Anthony Arrico.
Oh, you got to love that on the replay.
That's a beauty.
Scissors kick.
That's a beauty and a big one.
And it looked like, yeah, no, exactly. It looked like the assist from Ruggles kind of dumping it off the boards, and it bounced perfectly for Arrico.
Yeah, it was kind of a harmless-looking situation until the last moment when Arrico blew in there. And now here's a turnover. Reggett back out there. Good to see. Reggett going to be watched by Frank Tayu in a rare defensive moment. Reggett able to split the defenders, and the Tropics will keep possession here.
Well, possession's the key, Brian. It's about sustained possession, long-term possession with
Ball
line changes.
Left side to Reggett. He's got Pereiras in there. Toe poke towards the far post, but no Tropic within literally 50 feet of that one. Now here's a turnover, Reggett. Oh, he tried to make the play down to Pereiras, couldn't do it. Now it's a turnover again, and Chad Vandergriff will get the pass from Yoshio Sandoval. Vandergriff with it, tries to thread the needle to Reggett, can't do it that time.
That was Walter Bond. Again, just
oh, yeah,
trying
I'm
to
sorry.
force
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
And again, I think that's what Clay Roberts is going to want back is, listen, there's nowhere to go. Keep the ball, cycle through your lines, keep possession, keep the Ontario Fury defending for long periods of time.
Taylor Walter Bond having a much better afternoon here at the RP Funding Center than he did evening last night. There's a whistle and a foul against the Fury. So Chad Vandergriff also, after a little bit of a bobble in the first half, has come back to be very solid defensively here for the Tropics. And maybe the key to holding Tayu down here this afternoon is Frank. I think the needle is starting to approach E here pretty quickly. Here's a back heel to Pereiras. And perhaps the Tropics can just outrun the Ontario here over the final 18 minutes. But there is just a ton of time to go, and a 2-goal lead is nothing in this game, but the Tropics will take it. Nice ball ahead to Vandergriff. He's got space, gets deep in the corner, and can't find Enrique on the carom. Don't see guys get space that often in this game. And there's a foul against Vandergriff. Good shift by Chad. Taylor Walter Bond will head to the bench, as Sandoval will. Quick restart as the Tropics make the change. Oliveria out there with Enrique now, and the man of the moment, Anthony Arrico. Here's a turnover and a counter opportunity now for the Tropics. Enrique, nice ball down to Oliveria, and he couldn't control it. Comes back on front. Enrique with a toe poke, keeps it alive, and Reyes has it.
Really haven't called Reyes much. I want to say this might be his first shift.
Yeah, might
of the
be.
third quarter.
But certainly his veteran presence could be important. Almost in a bad rookie play there by Oliverio, as Tayo almost made the intercept, and he would have had a breakaway. How'd you like to be Hugo Silva facing Frank Tayo on a breakaway? But he did stop Justin Stinson on a clear breakaway in the first half. So, as you said, man of the match for a lot of reasons is Hugo Silva, as Tayo takes down, I think that's Oliveria hard, and Breno going to need a moment to recover. Poor Ryan Sigich, he's been barked at the whole day, whether it's been the Tropics bench, the Fury bench. I guess if both sides are unhappy with you, it means you're doing your job pretty well, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're never gonna make players happy. I tell you what.
You don't strike me as a yeller at the officials much as a coach.
No, not really. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when I was a player, I was, always just too focused on the task at hand, and I never understood players that argue with referees. They're never going to change their mind anyway. You know,
it's funny. I had a conversation with the league commissioner, Keith Tozer, recently, and we were talking about you. He remembers you certainly as a player during his long tenure with the Milwaukee Wave as a coach and your time in the league. But what he said he remembers most about you is how you respected the game and respected the officials, respected players. There's a shot to go! Eligwe with his second of the night.
Well, another play out of nothing, but that's a monster goal with his left foot, Eligwe. Kind of a bang-bang play. Carvalho's kind of getting in the mix there, and it bounces perfectly for Eligwe. Another great finish.
Yeah, he has really been a boost to this Tropics offense since he joined them late last season. He was a in addition to the roster on loan from the Mesquite Outlaws last year, came in and scored 5 goals in 6 games for the Tropics, but signed as a free agent with Florida this year.
It was almost basically a pass from the Ontario Fury defender right into the pathway of Oligwe and composed finish.
And Carvalho may get the assist there as he was helping push the play forward, and I think is the one who rolled it through to Oligwe, who found that open space on the left wing. So right now kind of a critical moment here maybe for Ontario at 6-3. It's been all Tropics since that goal by Taylor Walter Bond at the end of the first half. We said that could be a potential game changer, a momentum changer, and it kind of has been because the Tropics have scored now the last 3 to have the biggest lead that either team has had all weekend. Final minute here of the third quarter. This would be a big opportunity for Ontario to snatch some of that momentum back. You never like giving up those late goals. And Ontario with possession here, and Tayu will see what he can do against Vandegrift. Takes the turn, puts it off the glass. Nice defensive play in there by Sandoval to head it out of harm's way. Taylor Walter Bond with a spin off the boards. Gets it over to Pereira's just a little high, and that will go out of play. Both teams will send fresh troops on the floor here for the final 31 seconds. 6-3 Tropics.
Well, great response from that tough loss yesterday, 6-5. So far
being the key words there.
So far. I mean, the indoor game, you can easily score 3-4 goals in a quarter.
Here comes De Leon trying to find some area. Time becoming a little critical here. Don't know if Ontario realizes there's just 10 seconds to go. I don't think they did because the ball came all the way back to Toth, who can't play it. And so now we're just going to have to let time wind out as Enrique tries to create an opportunity. And that is not exactly, I don't think, the way the Fury wanted to finish the quarter with possession. They never really did put a serious threat on goal. But Hugo Silva's been great tonight. Despite the injured shoulder, Victor Oligwe with a couple, including one there late in the third, and we will have the fourth quarter in just a moment. 15 minutes to play. It is the Florida Tropics 6, the Ontario Fury 3. Back with the finale on MASL TV.
We are the Bond Clinic.
We are your medical services.
Comprehensive, personalized, state-of-the-art healthcare designed to serve you and your family.
We are community.
For over 70 years, the Bond Clinic physicians and our team of specialists deliver expert treatments and outstanding care. With over 90 providers, from pediatrics to diabetic care, lab services to sports medicine, we put your health first. Healthcare excellence in our community. The Bond Clinic.
We believe everyone can compete in the arena. Make the play, and score the winning goal. Because the heart of a champion lives in all of us.
Okay, so I locked my keys in my car. It could happen to anybody. Anyway, this guy shows up with this piece of metal to unlock my car. Does that thing work, I asked? Like a charm, he says. What happened next? I don't like to remember. You wouldn't believe what he did to my car.
Should have called Papa Lock. Papa Lock's friendly professionals will have your door open fast and at a price that'll make you smile. Next time, call Papa Lock.
Hey fans, MASL Primetime is the home for the best highlights, interviews, and action from the MASL each week. Catch the latest episode each Friday on MASL TV with Alex B. and the gang. They put on a great show, and highly recommend you check out every new episode on Fridays at MASL TV. And Alex, I'll make a deal with you. I will attempt your last name once this season, but it's still too early. So we're just going to go with Alex B until then, but does a great job with highlights and interviews. It's a slick product, and we hope you check it out at MASL TV. New episodes every Friday. Well, let's see if the Tropics can provide Alex B with a couple more highlights. Here's Oliverio with a shot right on, and Toth, not a real difficult save as it was right at him.
Long spells of possession, up 6-3.
Now it really becomes kind of a critical component. You don't want to lose your aggressiveness, but yeah, you also want to make Ontario work as much as you can.
No, I agree. I think right now they put themselves in a great position, deservedly so as well, being up 3.
Seems like we'll see what Tayu does here. He scores. Why not?
so easy
so
there.
So there we go. Yeah, so easy, right? I mean, it's just.
Again, for me, you've got one of the top players in the league, 1v1 with Victor Perez. This is a time to sag, double, force him to become a passer, and I think you kind of left Victor Perez on an island there. Credit to Frank Tayu, though, because that was a composed finish, but defensively, you've got to do a better job.
Yeah, that's not a fair matchup in the offensive end, and especially when you're trying to protect the lead, but Frank will be Frank, and that's the second of the night for the King after a hat trick yesterday. Here's Carvalho, and he just misses seconds after Tayu has brought the Fury to within 2. And I mean, Carvalho is just getting closer and closer. Now has the ball shot, another save by Toth. Did we get a whistle? No, they said play on.
He's just been inches, again.
Boy, it is.
Yeah, and it's not for lack of trying. He's getting a lot of shots off, just slightly off, and it's one of those strikers that once he gets one, I think he's going to get a bunch.
Yeah, his game has been much sharper here this afternoon, and he has been close on 4 or 5 occasions, and that's encouraging. I'd like to see him get one as a reward for that effort. Still a lot of time to do that, 13 plus to go. Ontario getting a very big goal here early from Tayu to make it a 6-4 game. Ruggles going to try and track it down in the corner against Palmer, who sends it in front, but good veteran play there by Gonzaga. Long outlet to Eligwe, who's looking for a hat trick of his own. Vicmore Eligwe tries to push it towards goal, but Cisse right there to make the good defensive play.
Yeah, probably defensive player of the game for the Fury is Cisse.
Turnover and then taken right back by Stinson. Stinson being chased by Walter Bond. Plays it back to Cisse. Now on the near side to Jesus Pacheco. He's been quiet after a 2-goal Saturday here in Lakeland. Long ball down into the Florida end of the field and then back to the midfield circle where Cisse will reset the offense. Pacheco has it taken away briefly by Gonzaga, whistling a foul against Walter Bond. Pacheco hit the turf, but he's all right. Wholesale change here for Ontario.
Well, Pacheco was a nice, lively player as a midfielder yesterday. 2 critical goals. Yeah, you're right, Brian. He has been a little bit quiet today, just kind of getting it, playing and not making a huge impact in the game. But, again, plenty of time left for Ontario Fury. 12 minutes in the game, only down 2.
6-4 is our score, 12:14 to play. So we'll keep an eye on the clock here in the fourth quarter as Ontario will get a corner kick here. So, again, a bit of a tense moment if you're a Tropics fan. Tayu is parked far post. Stinson in the foreground of your picture at the top of the arc. Maybe try and lift one across to him. Instead, good defensive play by Walter Bond, who's on the move but won't be able to catch up to that one. Toth, the only man back for Ontario, will scoop it up and plays it deep ahead to Tayu, who tries to lay one off, but Ruggles was too good defensively. Now Eligwe with it. Vicmore Eligwe to the yellow line. Slows things up, and that's a good decision by Vicmore there. Didn't really have numbers, but then has it taken away. It's the Tayu brothers on the attack, Frank and Uzi. Frank with a shot and another goal. My goodness gracious. Frank Tayu show here in the fourth quarter is hat trick, second straight against the Tropics, and we've got a one-goal game with 11:41 to go.
Well, it's very surprising how quick he can pull the trigger. That's a double step over, and he really fires that shot very quickly. We can look on the replay. I think Vic Moore is going to want that one back because that's a sloppy turnover. A single step over, and it's a bit of a screen on Ruggles. Hugo Silva, no chance there, bottom left corner.
So Tayu with two quick ones here in the fourth, and we have ourselves very much a ball game.
Yeah, a bit of a sloppy turnover from Vic Moore. Obviously, he's been having a great game. He's got 2 goals on the night, but that turnover resulted in an easy goal for Frank Tayu.
Silva will play a long ball down to Reggett. Reggett pushed off the ball, and Nestor Hernandez will come back the other way for Ontario. Vandergriff runs some interference and able to play it back to Hugo Silva. Long ball into the neutral zone, eludes Carvalho. Palmer will pick it up there. Carvalho with some pressure, back to Toth. That's the one pass back to the goalkeeper. Second one would be a violation. Now stolen away by Reyes, and JP decides the best idea is to bring it back out to the neutral zone and run the offense. Here's Pereiras. Back to Vandergriff. Silva will come well off his line now as a passing option. Instead, it comes all the way into Zach Reggett. Monaleris out there. Vandergriff to Reggett. He's pushed off the ball again. No whistle. Tayu will look for some space. Reggett back checking. Tayu falls to the turf without being touched and draws the whistle.
Just such a big presence.
He just threw himself onto the turf.
He reminds me of one of the Dusowski twins back in the Wave days. Tozer would obviously know them. They were fantastic players, but the target forward, and I can't remember his first name, might have been Troy. It might have been Troy Dusowski.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Just really reminds me of Tayu in terms of how well of a hold-up player he is.
My recollection serves it was Troy and Todd.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, the target forward was fantastic. Target player.
Here's a turnover, and Vandergriff going to try and create an opportunity. He had a Rico streaking with him, but good defensive recovery there by Ontario to break that one up. Vandergriff runs into, is that Stinson or Gonsalves? We'll see. They want a blue card. It won't be.
It's just a big
9:59 to play. Nordberg beside himself wanting a blue card there. Don't think he's going to get it unless we get a late one that comes out of the pocket.
Well, he did take a. Stinson took a great shot.
He took a shot. No question. There was a collision. There's 2 players going after a 50-50 ball, and there comes the blue card.
Well, that's unfortunate for the Tropics. It may have been a bit of a clumsy challenge. If we're looking at Taylor Walter Bond getting that card, I'm not even sure if he was involved. I thought it was Chad Vandergriff on the tackle.
Well, we'll see, but the blue card has come out of the pocket. I mean, that was 30, 45 seconds after the collision was over, long over.
Yeah,
and it is going to be Vandergriff going to be whistled for the infraction and sent to the box here.
Well done from the referees to point that out because Chad quickly got off the field to try to hide that infraction. I mean, smart from Chad, but ultimately got caught.
So the Ontario bench happened right in front of the Ontario bench, and they were going berserk for a blue card, and forever there was no blue card shown, and finally Ryan Sigich reached into the pocket and pulled it out after a good 30 or 45 seconds. So it'll be a power play here for Ontario. Crowd here at the RP Funding Center, you probably can hear, pretty unhappy with that decision, and I think it's more just from the fact it took so long to make the call. I mean, if you're going to call the blue card, go ahead and pull it. And I don't think you're going to get a big argument. It was definitely a collision there near the boards. So Vandergriff going to pay the price, and Ontario with a great chance here to get an equalizer.
A big opportunity for the Tropics to kill this.
There's a shot down low, look out, header, and great save by Silva. Maybe his second best of the night as Topeta was parked there far post and foul behind the play, and the Tropics will get a kick in or a restart in their own zone.
I didn't know Hugo Silva was such a good actor. He certainly flew to the ground there, but savvy play from the veteran.
been a couple of Emmys that could have been handed out here in the fourth quarter. Frank Tayu got maybe breathed on and threw himself to the carpet. But what a great save by Silva there.
Play.
Just a tremendous anticipation by Silva. 9:30 to go and another whistle and another foul. Getting a little tense and a little chippy here over the final 9 minutes.
Well, this is where you've got to be a smart, savvy indoor team. Can you take some time off the clock with that
and keep
man
your
down?
composure? Be smart. Reggett loses it in the corner, so back comes Ontario. Still plenty of time in the man advantage. 1:17 to go. 9:15 to play in the fourth quarter. Ontario looking for its third straight after Florida had scored three straight to break a 3-3 tie in the first half. Ruggles on the intercept, ahead to Monaleris, but a nice defensive play there by Gonsalves. Or Monaleris would have walked in all alone for a shorthanded opportunity. Ball in front to Tayu. They want a handball, and careful, Hugo Silva has to make sure he grabs that one before he gets over the line. Here's Reggett, and Toth makes a great save.
Wow.
As Reggett just unleashed a rocket from the yellow line.
Well, more importantly, that was a fantastic change from Enrico. Zach Reggett coming in from behind, and Hugo Silva recognizes it.
30 seconds to go in the man advantage, 8.5 to play in the ball game. Stinson with it, look out, blocked in there by Monaleris. Boy, every time Tayu or Stinson touches the ball, you just get a big old worry line on the face if you're a Tropics fan, because they have been great this weekend. Stinson going to track it down here. One last chance maybe for the Fury to regroup on the power play. Just 5 seconds to go in the man advantage. Here's Gonsalves, tries to send one Frank Tayu's way. And the power play is over. Vandergrift back on the floor. So
that's a big one. That's a big one.
Yeah, that is a big one. Sometimes a penalty kill like that in a big moment can turn momentum back your way. And other than that one header opportunity by Topeda, the Fury really did not have a ton of great chances. Good power play kill. In fact, maybe the best shot on the whole 2 minutes was from Reggett. There's a chance by Tayu, and he missed by 2 inches. That one, in fact, probably grazed the outside of the post. Another delay warning against Ontario.
And it's I don't know how he gets a shot off so
I know, honestly. It was like at his foot, and all of a sudden it was 2 inches wide of the far post.
No,
I mean, that's obviously part of his skill and talent and why he's so good.
Well, it's a critical 7 minutes, only up 1 Tropics. Love to see Carvalho get on the score sheet. I haven't seen him lately.
This would be a great time to get off the schneid. He's, as we said, played much better here this afternoon and been awful close, but still nothing to show for it. J.P. Reyes in there, gets it back out to Gonzaga. Boy, there's about 20 or 25 years of indoor soccer experience combined. Reyes has a little space on the far side. Leaves it now to Ruggles. Ruggles will be challenged by Hernandez. Gets it to Gonzaga now. Ahead to Breno Oliveria. Coach Clay Roberts showing confidence in Oliveria yesterday. He was out there late in a tight game and out there late again in a tight game. 6:48 to go. 6-5, Tropics lead it, and we will have our final media timeout of at least regulation. 6:48 to go here in Lakeland. It's the Florida Tropics 6, the Ontario Fury 5. Back with what we think will be a fantastic finish in just a moment on MASL TV.
We are the Bond Clinic.
We are your medical services.
Comprehensive, personalized, state-of-the-art healthcare designed to serve you and your family.
We are community.
For over 70 years, the Bond Clinic physicians and our team of specialists deliver expert treatments and outstanding care. With over 90 providers, from pediatrics to diabetic care, lab services to sports medicine, we put your health first. Healthcare excellence in our community. The Bond Clinic.
We believe everyone can compete in the arena. Make the play, score the winning goal. Because the heart of a champion lives in all of us.
Okay, so I locked my keys in my car. It could happen to anybody. Anyway, this guy shows up with this piece of metal to unlock my car. Does that thing work, I asked? Like a charm, he says.
Just underway here with 6:40 to go in the fourth quarter. Tropics clinging to a 6-5 lead. They opened a 6-3 lead here in the second half, only to see Frank Tayu, who else, with a couple of Frank Tayu-esque goals to cut it to 6-5. Do the Tropics have what it may take here to hang on for the final 6.5 minutes, Robbie Aristodemo?
Yeah, it's been a great game. A nice little small comeback from the Ontario Fury. You know, I felt that Tropics were well in control in the third quarter, up 3 goals now, and all of a sudden now we've got a barn burner. When you've got Frank Tayu, that's certainly not going to go down without a fight.
Literally and figuratively, perhaps. Tayu with it now. Tayu with those 1v1 skills. This time Vandergrift wins that battle. Yeah, just to give you an idea of the fact that the Tropics have had the better of a play much. Here's Stinson, look out. Stinson in front, and that's knocked out of there by Arico, who's played well tonight. Monaleris gets it ahead now to Vandergrift. Chad Vandergrift trying to push forward and create a chance. Bangs it off the board, still loose, and they want a whistle, no call.
Not sure what they're complaining about.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, unless maybe they thought it jumped up for a handball quickly, but didn't see that there. Hey, fans, don't forget MASLsoccer.com is your home for everything Major Arena Soccer League, all the latest news, standings, and in-depth features. Bookmark it now, MASLsoccer.com. Here's Stinson with it. Stinson double-teamed briefly, but Ontario will keep possession. 5:22 to go. 6-5, the Tropics leading it by a goal. Next goal could determine the outcome here. You get that feeling. Uzi will look for his brother Frank, but Ruggles an easy intercept, but can't get it up to Arico, so Ontario gets it right back. Arico with pressure, but Fury able to keep possession here. Fury looking for that equalizer. There's the long shot. Silva gets a piece of it. Carvalho with it. Here's a chance now, Enrique. Enrique pushing forward. Enrique over to Carvalho. Goal!
Well, we talked about it all game, Brian. Finally, Ricardo Carvalho, transition opportunity, 3-on-1.
And you can see the dog pile. That is the big sigh of relief for Ricardo Carvalho and his teammates. They know how much he's wanted that one. And a great play by Bruno Enrique. Really the great play made out at midfield to allow Enrique and...
Well, Arico just kind of dumps it. You've got a nice, actually, transition opportunity from Ricardo to Enrique, and he elects to play the back post tap in, which was the correct decision. So,
absolutely,
credit to Enrique, the youngster, finding the veteran Ricardo Carvalho, and again, you can see the relief off of his face. Yeah. And certainly, I'm looking at Clay Roberts, and he's like, "Wow, we really needed that." And obviously, that's going to be big for one of their leading goal scorers.
The Tropics needed it. Ricardo needed it. The fans needed it. But still a lot of time to go. 4:37 to play.
Well, you've got now a 6-attacker opportunity already for the Ontario Fury. They didn't waste time to pull the trigger on that.
Yeah, Jeff Hughes has donned the red top there. Gonzaga. Here's Vic Morligwe with a steal, and unfortunately had probably a second or two to try and settle it, and took a quick swipe at it and sent it well wide.
No, you're exactly right, Brian. I think he could have stepped on it, pitched a tent, had a cigar, and tapped it in.
Yeah, the cigar might be pushing it, but he probably had enough time to pitch the tent, that's for sure. And I don't know if Bickmore is smoker or not. We'll find out. But he's been hot nonetheless here in the second half with a couple of goals in the third quarter. Gonzaga will play it down. Hughes is staying in there as the sixth attacker, and he'll come out and grab it with his mitts and roll it up to Frank Tayu. Tayu pushed down, and there's a whistle against Chad Vandergriff. And again, or actually that was Frank that went down. Again, Griff put a finger on him, and Frank was able to quickly crumple to the turf and get the call.
No, he's certainly looking for a few Emmys tonight, but
that wasn't quite as blatant as the earlier one, but and trust me, he takes his share of knocks. I'm not trying to be overly critical. He is probably as physically abused as any player in the game, but he gives it right back. Here's Hughes, has a bobble on that shot. Loose in the corner, and Silva not able to get it. Look out, and there's a goal as it was loose in there. And are they going to allow the goal, or are they going to say the play was dead?
I think
they're calling it a goal.
Yeah, again,
did not see a signal right away from Ryan Sigich, but it was a crazy loose ball at the side of the box, and Ontario, with a sixth attacker goal, cuts it to 1.
Well, is that 4 goals on the night?
If it's Tayu that got it, it is.
It is Tayu.
Yeah, it is Frank, and it is number 4.
Really unfortunate. There was a bit of a scrum.
Yeah, that's just an indoor goal that you can't control. It's a chaotic situation right outside the box. Hugo's like, should I use my hands? Can I use my hands?
Yeah, I'd like to see another replay on that, but nonetheless, it's a 1-goal game with 3:30 left.
So 7-6 Tropics our score now. And that little cushion that the Tropics had is melted away again. And that kind of makes that Bickmore Leagueway miss at midfield
that's massive.
Feel a little bit bigger. Reggett can't get it through. Palmer with the intercept. Now some pressure by Monolaris and Reggett, and the ball will come back to Uzi Tayu. Well, you didn't think it was going to be easy, did you?
Well, certainly not.
Not with the Tayu brothers and Justin Stinson and others. Here's a counter now for Taylor Walter Bond. Walter Bond over the yellow line, tries to get it down. Toth back in there. Reggett with it. Toth will be coming out in another minute if Ontario doesn't get an equalizer. Then Tayu will not win that race. Nice little ball by Monolaris to Taylor Walter Bond, and he'll play it back to Drew Ruggles. Ruggles ahead now to Enrique, who's been a nice presence here this afternoon. Enrique with it. Steps on the ball, whistle, and a foul called against Cisse. So this is a moment here for the Tropics with a restart fairly deep in the Ontario end.
And I think, there's two schools here. What do? Do you elect to try to score, or do you keep it and you try to take some time off the clock?
Now, I'm going for the former. If you've got a chance to get another goal here, I don't want to lose all that aggressiveness. Trying to nurse a 1-goal lead of over 2.5 minutes, not going to be easy. Ruggles with a shot right directly into the midst of Chris Toth. That was not a particularly difficult save, even though Ruggles struck it pretty well. Toth had no trouble with that one.
Well, 2:30 left. You're down 1 if you're the Ontario Fury. Do they elect to go with 6 attacker? They're certainly going to be super dangerous as Stenson and Tayu. Again, difficult team to match up with. But the 6 attacker against for Clay Roberts, they're going to have to be on point, knowing that they're probably going to be able to get an empty net goal if they can be clinical.
Well, I assume Toth called the timeout to get the 6th attacker in there, so we will see. Hey, Tropics fans, like to send our thanks, as always, to the title sponsor of the Tropics. They've been there since day one. That is Bond Clinic, who has joined forces now recently with Advent Health, named the #1 hospital in the Orlando metro area by U.S. News and World Report. And Newsweek has named Advent Health hospital system one of the world's best. Bond Clinic has been a leader in value-based healthcare in Polk County for more than 70 years, and today has more than 90 specialty providers and practices that span the county, including Winter Haven, Lakeland, Davenport, and Lake Wales. Under the affiliation, Advent Health and Bond Clinic will coordinate to meet the growing demand for primary care and specialty providers in the Polk market, and we thank those two great healthcare providers for providing us with professional indoor soccer in a big way here in Lakeland. And this has been another edge of your seater. 2:25 to go. Tropics 7, the Fury 6. For the moment, Chris Toth is going to stay in the ball game.
Okay, so again, it looks like they've got a 6-attacker jersey on the side.
Yep, Jeff Hughes is ready to jump in if the opportunity presents.
And again, for me, I've always found it difficult because I did play a lot of 6-attacker against, in my days, and it was always difficult to defend it on the fly as opposed to where you're already set up. So right now, it looks like they're going to elect to do it on the fly.
Here comes Stinson back.
And here it
quickly.
is.
Yep, and Toth is in, and Hughes is over the boards here. Stinson, nice play by Zach Reggett to come back and clear it all the way into. That might actually be Gonsalves, the 6th attacker. It says Hughes on the back of the jersey, but I think that might be actually Gonsalves out there. It is Gonsalves now, and he actually has number 6 on. So it was Hughes earlier, and it's Gonsalves now. He's a better offensive threat. Now down low to Stinson. Stinson off the boards. Look out here. Oh, and Pacheco had a wide open opportunity and just couldn't get a foot on the ball properly.
Well, that was, he's scratching his head, Pacheco, right now. He wants that one back. Great ball off the boards from Stinson. And again, difficult for a keeper to react off that type of pace off the boards. But right now it's an opportunity for the Tropics to settle things down, dump it into Reggett, see if he can take some time off the clock.
Big exhale there for Tropics fans. 1:43 to go. Tropics by 1, 7-6. Reggett at the Ontario yellow line. He'll play it all the way back. Silva will have his one play with it and then send it back Reggett's way. He and Uzi Tayu collide. Toth will follow the ball up the field, I'm sure, here. Pressure by Reggett. Orico now going to come in. Monaleros with some pressure. I like this for the Tropics, not allowing Ontario to just simply walk up the field unchallenged. Minute 14 to go. And finally the turnover. Ruggles, though, can't control it, and Tayu has it. Uzi Tayu sends it into the Ontario end of the field, and the foul called against Vandergriff as he took Stinson down hard.
Yeah, luckily that's not a blue card, or else it would have been down 2 players, 6-attacker with 1 minute and 7 seconds left.
7-6 Florida, trying to avenge a 1-goal loss last night with a 1-goal win or more. Here, with the 6th attacker Gonsalves on for Ontario. And he's got it now over to Stinson. Back to Gonsalves. Walter Bond playing the high point for Florida here. 52 seconds to go. Down deep in the right corner. Ruggles tries to get it out of there. Oliveria out there, who said Clay Roberts showing him a ton of confidence in the young man. Gonzaga with the intercept. Gonzaga going to make a bid from distance. Oh, and it bounces just off a foot wide. 30 seconds to go. One last chance perhaps for Ontario. Pacheco with it. Hernandez tries to set up Tayu. Too tall for Frank. 19 seconds to go. Gonsalves with it. Last chance opportunity here for Ontario. Topeda in the box. Header, and Silva going to collect it. Thought about throwing it. Going to take a long look at Ryan Sigic to make sure. 3 seconds to go. The Tropics are going to win it. They hang on and take it by a final score of 7-6. Big hand from the crowd here at the RP Funding Center. Delighted with this one here this afternoon. A slugfest all weekend long. 2 MASL heavyweights throwing haymakers right from the start Saturday afternoon. And the final here tonight, the Tropics 7 and the Ontario Fury 6. So the Tropics moved to 3-1, and Robbie, the Tropics would love to be 4-0, but honestly, if you'd have said on December 1st, I'm on the road in Baltimore, I'm on the road in Utica, I'm home in back-to-back games against the team that went to the championship finals a year ago, if you go 3-1, would you be happy with that? I would say yeah. I'd take it, and that's where the Tropics are after this game tonight, 3-1, and back atop the Eastern Division.
No, what a fantastic game on the night. They well deserved for me for the Tropics. It's certainly exciting for the fans. And going 3-1, I think Clay Roberts can be very happy going into their little break.
And Hugo Silva literally coming off the medical examination table this morning, needing x-rays and some attention to a banged-up shoulder that he suffered in yesterday's game. Literally did not get to the arena until about 2:30 for the 3 o'clock start. Dressed, walked into goal without any warm-ups, stoned Justin Stinson on a breakaway in the first half, and made a number of big saves all game long. Just a good team effort all the way around by the Tropics. The league way with a couple of goals in that second half, and the game winner will come from Ricardo Carvalho.
Love it.
Yep, he earned it. He played much better here this afternoon, and certainly deserves that moniker. A game winner for Ricardo Carvalho, his first of the season. So that'll do it for us here at the RP Funding Center this afternoon. Robbie, any final thoughts?
No, I think well-deserved from the Tropics. It was a great back-to-back. Both Ontario Fury and the Tropics certainly gave their fans their money's worth. Both talented sides. And we obviously want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you at the next home game.
And that next home game, by the way, will come January 2nd. 2 Sunday back-to-back games, Sunday, January 2nd, and again on Sunday, January 9th, those against Utica City, divisional rivals, and Utica City will be looking to atone for that 7-1 thrashing they took at the hands of the Tropics back on their home turf on December 5th. So look to see you out here at the RP Funding Center after the new year, January 2nd, January 9th, visits by Utica City. The final once again here tonight, the Florida Tropics 7 and the Ontario Fury 6. Many thanks, as always, to our friends at GT Sports for their fine work bringing you the game this afternoon. The Tropics improved to 3-1. We hope everyone has a great holiday season. Make it safe, make it merry, and we will see you back here on January 2nd. The final one more time, the Florida Tropics 7 and the Ontario Fury 6. Have a great night, everybody.